Ooh, Nelly. What a day!
Minus 45 seconds.
That's what she said. I'm running on fumes, brother. Running on fumes.
Ooh.
What?
The neck.
Oh, that was your neck? I thought it was your hands.
Hands and then neck. Both my hands.
That was a good pop. Some good squish right there.
Here we go.
All right, here we go, folks. I'll get the unified chat up in just a minute. What's up, heroes? Thank you for the cheers, man.
And commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595. 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Happy Friday to everybody. Don't forget, in the 5 o'clock hour, it is open lines. You can call about any topic that you want. I know we're heading into the weekend, but again, you can bring up anything you want. It doesn't have to be something that I have discussed. It can be anything. Get a lot of personal requests and questions and things like that on the weekend, so that is okay too. You don't have to keep it strictly business. By the way, Pass the Mic was awesome today. Pretty big turnout considering that this is, what's that? 40?
The count that David made was about 40 people.
About 40 people for a Labor Day weekend. Mm-hmm. Over there, that's really good. I mean, it's almost at capacity. It's just under capacity. But so thank you to everybody who came out. Of course, I had my Dr. Alicia Town out there from Thrive DPC, and she was talking about the service, what it is. I got to answer some questions from people who are, again, just trying to figure out what this is. I think we're going to get our engineer on it. I caught him in the hallway, and I gave him the website. He goes, "Oh, you heard?" Because our engineer, he's been trying to get into his doctor 3 months to get into his doctor. 3 months. And obviously he's frustrated with that. He has daily medication he's got to deal with. And so I think he's going to be signing up too. So that's pretty cool. And look, I get it. It sounds like an endorsement. It's a personal endorsement. There's no business relationship there. It's just that amazing. And I think it could help all of you. So that's why I talk so highly about her service. Anyway, I do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. If you mention me, you get 50% off your range time. You can shoot rifle and pistol indoors at one of their 10 lanes. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. All right, so satellite video has showed dozens of lightning strikes within Hurricane Dorian's boundaries as the storm approaches the Florida coast. It is, what did they say? It's a Cat 3 now, I think it is. So you look at the video. I mean, the video is stunningly beautiful from the satellite. Of course, this is obviously a big storm. I still don't know if it's going to be, as powerful as they think when it hits land, but they think that it might get to a Cat 4. The thing about Dorian is that it's slow. It is very, very slow. And when you have slow hurricanes, you have flooding because of the rain. So this is not necessarily the wind damage. Obviously that can be a factor, but even with the weaker hurricanes, when they make landfall, if they move slow like that, you tend to have a lot of flooding, which obviously causes a lot of damage. So that's what everybody's watching and everybody's taking a look at. You did have these idiots out there hoping and praying that it hits Florida and destroys Mar-a-Lago because Orange Man bad. These deranged people are actually wishing for hurricane damage to fellow Americans. And it's not just the president, because if you damage Mar-a-Lago, you are going to be damaging everybody around Mar-a-Lago. And that is it. We were talking about this at Pass the Mic today, where somebody had asked a question, and Ruth, I believe it was, who's on the live stream usually, was asking a question like, how can we, be progressive without progressives, like with, rights and things, and, on social issues and things of that nature. I apologize if I butchered that question, but it was a good question. I was pointing out that, most of us get along pretty darn good. For the most part, Americans get along despite their differences. We are the most culturally and racially diverse place on the planet. And by a wide margin, there's nowhere else in the world that comes close to us for diversity. And as a result of that, you're going to have some conflicts. You're going to have some toe-tapping, if you will. But most of us get along. How many times have you heard me say it? Your coworkers, your neighbors, your relatives, even friends that disagree with you on certain issues, you're not trying to claw each other's eyeballs out every single day. You get along, unless you or the other person are deranged. And at that point, yeah, you guys are probably, coming to fisticuffs and that sort of stuff. But yeah, really, for the most part, we either don't talk about it, or we joke and, kind of rib one another about it, or maybe we'll get really creative with some of the insults, but it's all in fun and games. But that's not what you see in the press, right? And the political parties, all of the political parties are responsible for this too. And you kind of divide everybody out into their bases. And you look at one base and you go, all right, the other side is evil. And because the other side is evil, you have to be with us no matter what we do. Because even if we do evil, it is purely because we can't let them do evil. So we have to do evil to keep the evil people, or more evil than us, from doing evil to everybody. So we're going to do a little bit of evil to prevent a lot of evil, and you got to stick with us to prevent big evil. Okay? It's ridiculous. Now, there are people who just get involved in all of this stuff that are just bad people. Now, that does happen. All right? There are bad people that get involved in politics, and unfortunately, you have people who defend bad people, and that's not something that you want. You obviously want the best and the brightest on all sides to rise to the top, and you want the lowest common denominator to sink, so that way you don't have to deal with them anymore. And unfortunately, increasingly in our society, because of this tribalism, we are pushed to choose a side. And even if you have a side, sometimes in a certain argument, your side may not be right. There's nobody's 100% right, nobody's 100% wrong. And that's why even amongst the various political factions, there's still infighting, because there's disagreements on certain things. But when you're at a point, I was mentioning this today at Pass the Mic, when you're at a point where instead of having vigorous debate, having an election, the results of the election happen, and everybody goes, all right, well, we gave it our best try. We'll try again in a couple of years, and hopefully this works out. Okay. Instead of doing that and going back to your normal lives with the peaceful transition of power that we so richly enjoy, yet take for granted in the United States of America, and really in all Western culture. What we have now is we're going to go to the streets. We're going to call people names. We're going to attack vehicles that have bumper stickers on it that we don't like. We're going to physically assault people who wear a red hat. We're going to pepper spray people who have peaceful protests that we don't like or that we disagree with. And we're going to do all of these horrible things because, well, they're justified because the other side is evil. And then you go ahead and you call them a bunch of weird names and things like that. And the culmination of that is violence. And it's not the vast majority of Americans who do this or even ascribe to it. It's very few people who are that radicalized. And perhaps you look at it on the internet, and maybe people just are bloviating on the internet because they think they can get away with it on the internet. You wish for entire communities to be destroyed. Why? Because somebody you disagree with politically has a property there. I know it sounded like a roundabout way to get back to where I was going, but the path was pretty darn clear. We're literally wishing for whole communities to be harmed, people potentially to be killed, certainly having their lives severely interrupted as a result of wanting to destroy a property that belongs to somebody that you happen to not like politically. That is the lowest common denominator. People who think that way are the worst of us, not the best of us, not the average of us. They're the worst of us. And unfortunately, they are more and more emboldened. Now, I want you to think about this. Like, no. I want everywhere around Mar-a-Lago to be okay. I just want Mar-a-Lago to be damaged. So, Casey, you're totally taking me out of cause. All right, cool. There's hundreds of people that work at Mar-a-Lago, maybe thousands, but their lives aren't impacted by losing their job. Then you have to think about the tax base of the community, because now those people aren't working, so there's less taxes coming in there, which means there's less social programs and things of that nature. I mean, you start going down the gambit of this, and yeah, you're wishing for great damage on a community, which of course FEMA kicks in, and that's federal tax dollars too. You know, that's less money that we have going back into our own communities too. And just because you don't like somebody and you want everything that they own destroyed. You know, I don't like Bernie Sanders all that much. I don't think that I've ever once had a thought about destroying one of his 3 houses. I don't think that's ever come up. You know, I could point out all day long how he's a hypocrite for having 3 houses and how those 3 houses cost an awful lot of money. And it sure is interesting how he suddenly made all of that money and how there might seem to be some impropriety there. But I'd never thought that it would be justifiable to go destroy one of his houses just to kind of show him. You know, I think I might have teased once about going to move into one of them and say, well, you know, I don't have a house, Bernie, so you got to share one of these 3, just because it's a socialist canard, if you will. But you actually have people out there hoping that Hurricane Dorian destroys communities and people's lives. What a horrible thing. It's not the first time, by the way. Remember, shortly after the last election, when a hurricane was heading towards Florida, and there's a bunch of liberals that hopped onto social media and said, we hope it destroys Florida. Shame on them for voting for Trump because the state went red. That's a pretty low thing to think. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Shizzo, Dizzo, Rizzo. All right, let's do the joint chitty chat. Joint chitty chat, joint chit. There we go. All right, it's all loading up.
We'll have a mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow with a high of 7.
Whew.
And a chance for maybe an isolated shower or 2 once we make it to Saturday evening.
I'm pooped.
Otherwise, the chance looks more likely for Sunday.
I am super pooped.
Showers, mostly cloudy skies and a high of 75.
But I also just got some really big business news. That's nice.
High of 80 degrees, feeling a little bit more humid as well. For Tuesday, we make it up to 84 degrees with partly cloudy skies.
If Bill Maher fell into a volcano, I feel bad for the volcano. Yeah, it was a. Do you think there would be a big belch if that happened? But see, here's, you know, a lot of people don't like that I'm pretty aggressive with my language on people, but you have to understand, I'm aggressive with people who are aggressive towards others. You know, very polite people that say things that I disagree with, I'm not aggressive with. Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is a prime example of that. For the most part, she's conducted herself with maturity and decorum. Okay, a couple of times, she's gone off the rails. And so I have polite disagreements with her, but I have great respect for her in spite of me not agreeing with the vast majority of what she believes. And then you got people like Nancy Pelosi, who I have absolutely zero respect for. And if you're willing to destroy somebody's life by lying about them, then I don't really care what I say about you. Anybody remember Joe versus the Volcano? What a great freaking movie that was. Joe probably has no idea what I'm even talking about. See, he's got no clue. He's never seen a classic Tom Hanks movie, one of his best movies. He's never seen it. And his name is Joe. Is it an obligation to watch every movie named Joe? Every single movie? There's no culture with kids these days, man.
You have an Indian movie coming out of the break.
I wonder if Carter will call into the 5 o'clock hour. I hear he likes to talk on the phone. I haven't checked on the video. How well is it doing? That's the first time I've actually dropped a video at 2 a.m. How is that video doing? The latest moto vlog, I hate everyone named Carter, dropped on the website. 41 views, not that bad. Not really great, but not that bad. So, I hate everyone named Carter. That's funny. You know what I forgot to do yesterday? I forgot to do the stupid coffee giveaway. I got done with the show. Huh? That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I'm going to do it in one of the breaks today. So I got done with the show, and I'm like, I'm really forgetting something. Like, it just feels like I cut out of the show early today, and I couldn't figure out why. I'm on my way home, and I'm like, I didn't give away the damn coffee. So I got to give away the coffee today. Sorry about that.
Hello. You have any time to talk to him yet?
I don't know. You tell me.
You have 20 seconds. The next break is 9 minutes. Okay. He's going to call you during the next break.
He probably needs to get me all the commercials I need to record. Because I haven't had time to do a damn thing today.
Indian Reed.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'll tell you what, man, this vacation could not have come at a better time. My voice, have you noticed for the past couple of days, has been starting to go out? And it's like half of the day I can barely talk, and then it kind of comes back and it kind of goes away. Like, I think my voice is going to cut out here pretty soon. It's doing the whole Sparky thing. And then it's just going to cut out at some point in time. So I guess this ended up being a good time for that vacation. Although my boss wants to talk to me in the news break, so it's probably, Kate, you can't take your vacation. Sorry, your fill-in host has gotten sick. Where have we heard that one before? Remember the last time I tried to take a vacation, I had to fill in for my fill-in host? Remember that? That was a good time. Anyway, got to tell you about Elkhart Indian Motorcycle. Riding a motorcycle is amazing. I know that for those of you who do ride a motorcycle, you already know that. So why don't you treat yourself to a great bike? Go to Elkhart Indian Motorcycle. Whether you're looking for a pre-owned or a brand new Indian motorcycle, or even a brand new Royal Enfield, Elkhart Indian Motorcycles is the dealership that you want to do business with for a couple of reasons. First of all, they have an amazing selection. The Indian brand is phenomenal. It's America's oldest motorcycle company. The resurgence of Indian motorcycles has been phenomenal. It is in the right hands. They have the right design team. They're putting out the right type of product. It is just a great company to do business with. But more than that, Elkhart Indian Motorcycles is just a great place. Good people, great atmosphere, family-friendly events. They're very active out there in the community and in the biker world. The Indian Rider Group is also phenomenal. Just great folks. And, you know, part of you know, being in the motorcycle family is that you want to go do these events, but you also want to be able to take your family with you. And they do a great job of making sure that they put events on that are good for everybody in the family. And that's great. You know, you build community and you're riding a great product that not only is reliable and has that heritage to it, but also looks and sounds great. Go to ElkhartIndianMotorcycle.com. Take a look at their new and pre-owned inventory. They've got some specials going here for the summer. And you can also visit them in person at 3016 Brittany Court. Always let them know that I sent you, please. I want to make sure that we spam all of them. So let them know that it's a Hendrickson listener that goes in there to Elkhart Indian Motorcycles. All right. So do you remember since we're just talking about Hurricane Dorian, you remember the other day we were talking about the rumor that Trump wanted to drop an atomic bomb in a hurricane in order to disperse the hurricane. Now, that is a story that actually came up a couple of months ago, and it has come up again. So we talked about it the other day, and of course, the president has gone out and he said, yeah, it's totally ludicrous. It doesn't mean anything. It's crazy that I would ever say anything like that. I read an article a couple of days ago, and this article actually theorized, I don't remember who wrote it, I didn't save it, but this article theorized that President Trump did say that, but that he said that in order to catch a leaker. Now, I thought that was an interesting theory because there's obviously been some of these theories floating around for some time. As some of the things that we hear about, the president is actually saying in relatively confined quarters because he wants it to get out to the press. And part of it is there's a trolling of the press. They report on a story, they lose their mind. He comes, it's crazy. I would never do anything like that. What the heck are you talking about? And then also part of it is he finds those internal leaks that have plagued his administration. You'll notice that the leaks have stopped a lot. There's still some, but far less than there used to be. So I thought it was an interesting take on this particular story that maybe the president is recycling an old article or old fake news story that he wanted to drop an atomic bomb on a hurricane, because it did happen several months ago. And now all of a sudden it's back in the news cycle. And I thought it was interesting that somebody would say, well, maybe he is meaning to do it. Now, the president's denied ever saying, he's like, this is totally ludicrous. But what if that theory is true? That the president did say that, never meant it, was never serious about it, but he wanted somebody to put it out into the press. And then what he could do is he could track down who a leaker is with a relatively benign story in order to make sure he doesn't have any leakers around when something serious is going on. Again, interesting theory, right? Okay, so I opened the web browser today. Trump assistant out after report she was feeding info on White House and Trump family to press. Well, that's interesting. I have zero evidence, no clue if this is connected. But I thought the timing was really interesting. An old, recycled, ludicrous claim about the president dropping an atomic bomb on a hurricane to disperse it comes out. President vehemently denies it. People still press forward with the story. An article comes out that the president might be trying to trap somebody who's leaking information to the press. And a couple of days later, somebody's fired for leaking information to the press. Interesting. The New York Times' Maggie Haberman and Annie Carney first reported Westerhout's exit. So Annie Carney, Westerhout has sat outside the Oval Office since day one of the admin, has become a trusted aide to Trump, but is out after talk of recent indiscreet chatter got to POTUS. Well, that's interesting. I mean, this is basically Trump's personal assistant. Westerhout, whose desk was immediately outside of the Oval Office. So, you know, when you watch those presidential shows and you're in the Oval Office and they open that door to the right and there's that secretary or whatever sitting there, that's her. Okay? That's how close to the president she is. Served as the president's personal secretary, was often referred to as Trump's gatekeeper. Hey, I'm not the only one that uses that term, Joe. Who would have thought? Westerhout's departure followed reports that she had attended an off-the-record dinner with reporters at the president's golf club in New Jersey, sharing inside information about what went on in the Oval Office, as well as personal details about the Trump family. Wow. I mean, that's pretty big news. So I wonder if now, there's been rumors that Trump has been trapping leakers by doing this type of stuff for a while, at least a year. Now, if you're the press, I suppose maybe you don't care, but maybe, just maybe, you start taking a look at this stuff and start, okay, if it sounds a little outlandish, what if it's the president feeding this information to somebody in order to go ahead and catch who that person is? And then maybe as the press, we should probably work a little bit harder to verify it, right? But again, it's the press, and we are in the 24th and a half century, and they are not interested in verifying any of this information. They're just interested in what is damaging. What do we have here? The report said Westerhout was considered a separated employee and would not be allowed back in the White House after the president found out she indiscreetly divulged information about the Trump family and Oval Office operations in a recent off-the-record dinner with reporters. Now, Trump was in New Jersey where he had a working vacation. That's where she was when she had this dinner. She is in her 20s. She was the subject of a Washington Post profile in September 2018, which documented her rise from Trump Tower greeter girl during the transition period to being executive assistant to the president. In a conversation with Watergate sleuth Bob Woodward, Trump described her as being the key and the secret to reaching him. Interesting. Well, apparently somebody took that literally and said, all right, well, if she's the key and the secret, then we're going to get to her, and then we'll be able to have access to the president. So, like I said, I have no information. I have no evidence whatsoever that the hurricane atomic bomb story is connected to this, but it sure is interesting timing, considering the article about maybe Trump was leaking this to catch a leaker. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3 MNC.com.
Oh, man.
The study from the Indianapolis-based Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation says Indiana received nearly $160 million to battle the crisis, but was still
David finally sent me a link to this. Nice.
Comparing the amount of funding each state gets to its percentage of opioid-related overdose deaths.
The number of overdose deaths are on the decline, which is great news, and that's due directly to the all hands on deck effort.
All hands on deck. Careful how you say that.
That's Foundation President and CEO Claire Finian Green. Ohio is also listed as one of the most underfunded states.
That's 95.3 MNC's Heather Starr. And Elkhart-based RV maker Thor Industries has pledged a multi-million-dollar gift to the National Forest Foundation.
I just got to make sure that this is a legitimate site.
Financial details other than to say the initial length of the newly formed partnership is for 3 years. The NFF's job is to promote the use of national forests across the U.S. The recreational vehicle maker is encouraging its customers to explore and enjoy the forests. Thor's gifts will go toward improving recreation sites and campgrounds and helping to make them more sustainable. The nonprofit also says the money will help engage youth in conservation work and engage groups and volunteers to help improve forest health. 95.3 MNC's Carl Stutzman reporting.
I'm Rich Dennison. Hurricane Dorian is expected to make landfall along Florida's Atlantic coast sometime Monday. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis telling everyone to be prepared.
We urge all Floridians to have 7 days worth of food, medicine, and water.
Forecasters say Dorian, now a Category 3 hurricane, could strengthen to a Cat 4 before hitting Florida, with torrential rain and winds exceeding 130 miles an hour. The United Nations Atomic Watchdog confirms Iran is in violation of an international nuclear agreement.
The agency saying stockpiles of uranium are now around 20%.
It's a legitimate story. Okay. David sent me this interesting story about a ISIS fighter. Just wanted to track it down, kind of make sure that it was legit.
Simon Owen. America is listening to Fox News.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. The Prime Table is open Labor Day from 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Kathy wants to know where I'm going on vacay. Somewhere.
A place.
A place.
Today turn into mostly cloudy conditions once we get to this evening with a high of 76 degrees. For your Saturday, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, a high of 73 degrees.
Ick, Casey, what did I do? What did I do? What did I say that was icky? Did I say something that was icky? I don't remember saying anything that was icky.
Powered by the Alzheimer's Association. The Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Michiana on September 15th. Register to walk at alz.org/walk.
More bottom-picking buying in beans, but that...
No, I did not see that. Somebody tried to break into Tim Pool's place?
With the Friday closing farm market report,
Good Lord.
Beans did work higher all day long, but then a sell-off towards the...
He's going to have to get security and crap now, man. Hopefully his new website takes off. And he's able to make himself some due.
March contract 382.25 down 1. Up 3/4. September beans.
Uh-oh. People are sharing things on my timeline again. Oh, yep, there we go.
Also up a half at 882. Weighing on the markets, wheat very weak. September 451.25, down 18.5. Livestock went down as well. The October live cattle 98.92, down 87. And October lean hogs 63.52, down $1.37. I'm Andy Eubank. Who's your
God, I hope the phone call that I just had ends up coming true.
Yeah.
Yes. I really, really do. Oh, Al's sharing something to me now. God, a lot of people are sharing things for me. Nice. Al sent me a spill-free mug. So it's basically a kid's mug with the rubber on it, you know, and then the straw, but it's meant for adults.
I love it.
That was funny, Al. That's good stuff. It's literally the exact same thing as my kids' mugs, but it's in 20 ounces. How much do you hate Carter's? A lot. Tons. What's up, random? Yeah, that's weird that they didn't arrest him. That is crazy. Do I need to call Kami Joe and give him my ship to address? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't know what he's going to send you, but okay. Oh, as far... No, I mean, I'll get in contact with everybody. I'm hoping that most people will be willing to just come pick the damn coffee up instead of me having to ship it to everybody, but... If I got to ship it, I got to ship it. I'm the one that did the contest. It's on me. Oh, John didn't call.
No, he didn't.
How long do I have?
Under 3 minutes.
Under 3 minutes, but long enough. All right.
Coming out of the darkness and coming back into the light was pretty overwhelming. That's what I think I really admire most about Goodwill, because they reintegrated you back into the workforce slowly. The idea is with people with barriers to employment, is to break down those barriers, get them used to coming to work, get them used to punching in on time, send them out in the open job market, and let them fly. It gave me structure. It gave me a platform.
And then do I need to do any commercials or anything for you?
It amazes me that it works. And I'm amazed.
Because I'm going to have to do those from home this weekend before I go.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes.
And then you have a bunch
you'll
of
always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined.
I tried to
What's in your wallet?
But
for consumers only, offered by Capital One NA member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack,
but
not with ZipRecruiter.
Good Friday, Steve. I mean, not literally Good Friday, but, you know, it's Friday and it's good,
That's why
I guess.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. So while other companies might deliver...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't watched or listened to Pool in a little while, so I'm a little bit behind on his stuff.
Going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Summer sun is beating down on that home of yours, and there's still...
Yeah, the BLM. So I literally signed off, and then the story broke, and we said, well, we know what my promo is. So, so yeah. That's what we're talking about, that one next, actually.
That's right. Get a free air cleaner and a brand new...
Yep. It always happens that way, too. Always happens that way. Right as I get off the air, there's a major breaking story.
You already know it's time to replace yours. Home Comfort Experts has an expert that has anticipated this trend and negotiated directly with a manufacturer. Rock bottom prices on these units. The savings on these units makes your payments super low. If your current system is older than 10 years, you can replace your old central air conditioner and furnace with more efficient ones that make it possible that you may actually end up even with payments and savings. Call 255-4600 and get your new central air conditioner or furnace for no money down and $18 a week. Plus, get a free water heater and air cleaner with system purchase.
From the final phase,
All right, here we go.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical non-brothers.
That's right, B-Dubs. You've seen her.
afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. Do want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Once again, located in New Carlisle. If you mention me, you get 50% off your range time. Again, go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. So yesterday, this is how it always happens every single time. We sign off on the show, and somebody on the live stream said it was 6:01 that it happened. We signed off on the show. Breaking news, Black Lives Matter makes a big announcement, air quote, big announcement, making a demand, okay, here in South Bend. And I'm like, well, I guess I know what my promo is going to be about, and that's exactly what I did. Can you go ahead and cue up my audio, please? I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. This is ABC 57 News. They've got the scoop on all of this, and so this is what Black Lives Matter South Bend had to say.
South Bend chapter of Black Lives Matter now demanding Mayor Pete Buttigieg's resignation. The local group has been organizing protests and marches across the city this summer, pushing for the ouster of South Bend Police Chief Scott Ruskowski, but this is the first time they've called on the mayor to resign. It comes in the wake of the deadly police shooting of a car break-in suspect, Eric Logan, back in June. The activist group claims Mayor Buttigieg is, quote, complicit in the violence perpetrated against black persons by not holding yourself, the chief of police, or the board of public safety accountable.
We are asking for his resignation at this time due to the fact that he's undermining the situation. He's covering up and he's just making check marks off his list instead of really hearing our situation and taking it seriously.
A spokesman for the mayor has not responded to multiple requests for comment today.
Uh-oh. Hey, by the way, have you guys noticed a pretty dramatic shift in the way that ABC 57 covers the mayor as of late? We were talking about this the other day in the studio. So Clifton French, who I believe is now the investigative journalist of Michiana, he corners Pete Buttigieg in his elevator at his office, right? Remember that? They kept trying to get a hold of him, and he wouldn't talk to them about it. And then this is all about the FOP, saying that police officers were resigning and everything else. Of course, we interviewed Harvey Mills from the FOP about all of that. And Buttigieg wasn't giving any comment on that. And so Clifton French from ABC 57 just showed up at his elevator, started asking about it. He's like, are we doing an interview in an elevator right now? Seriously? He's like, yeah. We keep asking you to comment, and you don't get back to us, so we gotta track you down. They're using that as promotional material on their news broadcasts now. So ABC 57 used to be friendly to the mayor, and now they're a little bit standoffish. It's kind of an interesting sort of a twist. I'm not trying to insult them or attack them in any way. It's just, I've just noticed a dramatic shift in their coverage as of late. And now Pete Buttigieg isn't returning their phone call. You notice that? We've requested multiple times for him to go ahead and provide comment. He just won't do it, not providing any comment. So if you get the local chapter of Black Lives Matter, Catherine Redding was the individual who was speaking on behalf of the organization. She was the one that was talking about this. And he's covering things up. He's impeding the process. Now, I don't know what he's covering up. I have no clue. I know that Eric Logan's brother has accused the police department of having body camera footage, but failing to release it. And that they're pretending that the officer's camera was not on, and that they actually have video of it. They're just not releasing it to the public. So part of the reason that I am not in any way, shape, or form upset that I called him a butthurt snowflake a couple weeks ago. So maybe that's a part of it. Maybe they do think that there is some kind of a conspiracy or a cover up there. Again, they've called for the police chief to resign, which I think is silly, but go figure. And now they're calling for the mayor to resign. Now, some people on the live stream pointed out, like, they know that he's like almost out of office, right? Now, can I just take a moment here? Because here's the thing. I want to pause, and I want to look specifically at the St. Joseph County GOP, and by the way, the head of the St. Joseph County GOP was at Pass the Mic today, and I'm sorry that I didn't have a chance to talk with you more because I really did want to bring this up. So I'm sorry if I'm hitting you on the air as opposed to in person. And the state GOP. Okay. Black Lives Matter just asked the Democratic mayor of the city to resign. There have been protests consistently bashing Mayor Buttigieg, the Democratic mayor of the city, for, well, months now. Since 1972, there hasn't been a Republican mayor. The person that has been chosen by the Democrats to take over for Pete Buttigieg on his way out is from Buttigieg's administration. Now, I'm sorry, but if you are the Republican Party, you have not had a better opportunity to make a run at South Bend mayor than you have now. Period. Since I have been here, here's what I have seen with South Bend. The Republican Party views it as a throwaway. It's not a race to try and win. It's not a race to recruit the best people. It's not a race to throw any money at. It's a race to just ignore because we're not going to win South Bend, so why try? And they haven't. I'm sorry. Since I have been here 8 years. It'll be 8 years next month, actually. You haven't tried to win South Bend, Republicans. You have not made an effort to win the city of South Bend. Not at all. No money, no infrastructure, no support, no ground game, nothing. Okay? You have never had a better chance than right now. You've got a primary demographic in the city of South Bend who votes Democrat, who is ticked off with Democrats in the city. And what are they doing? They're not just talking about the current Eric Logan situation. They're protesting the way that the city has treated them for not just the past several years under Buttigieg, but going back further. So if you're Sean Haas, the Republican candidate, and if you're the GOP at the county level and at the state level, you've got a major voting bloc of the Democrats who are dissatisfied with the Democratic Party. Why are you not throwing everything you have available at this race right now in order to let those people know we hear you? Since 1972, nobody has been taking you seriously and nobody has been doing what you think they need to be doing to help your community. And guess what? Maybe it's time to try something different. Maybe. If they're not happy with the way the Democratic Party in the city of South Bend has been treating them for the past several decades, and if they're not happy with Pete Buttigieg's administration, maybe they won't be happy that the next guy comes from his administration. And by the way, I'm not using this as a personal slant against Mueller, who's his own man, okay? I'm just saying the optics are there from a political campaign stratagem. If you are the Republican Party in St. Joseph County or the state of Indiana right now, you have not had a better chance to capture the mayor's office than right now. And guess what? You've got a candidate who's actually a nice dude, who's an educator in that community. I mean, it just seems to me like you didn't have to pick, some kind of a candidate who is maybe inside the party and is like, whatever, you're not going to win, but we'll throw you out there. And I mean, this is a guy who, and I've heard some people kind of bring this, actually came up with some official today. And please, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I want you to understand that. I'm looking at this from a political perspective. I'm just going, what in the world are you doing? You're squandering an opportunity here. But, he's not well known in the party. Sean Haas hasn't been too involved in the party. And I think there's some people in the party that maybe don't like that. They don't know much about him. And that's fine. I get that. But maybe that's what you need. Do you think? Maybe having somebody who hasn't been, a rah Republican on committees and things like, maybe that's what you need for South Bend. Maybe you got to do something different. But I'm just looking at this, I'm going, wow, a major voting bloc of the Democratic Party is not happy with the Democratic Party in South Bend. And the Republicans are like, not doing much for Sean. Seems a little weird to me. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather showed up at a Prime Table restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast?
Hey, Alex, if you could do me a solid and make that last bit a clip, I would greatly appreciate it.
Clouds are taking us with a high of 76 degrees for today. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow with a high of 73. And a chance for maybe an isolated shower too once we make
Well, okay, so Sam, you have got a point. Okay, he did have a really good article published about him the other day. But so here's the thing. Sean needs a campaign structure, right? So if Sean Haas is going to have a campaign structure and get his name out there, he needs money. He's not getting any. So if you, I've looked at the paperwork, like he's not getting, they're doing a little bit. They're doing what they can. And from what I understand, he has to do a better job of communicating with the county party. But I'm just looking at this and I'm just seeing he's kind of doing his own thing. The party's kind of not paying attention. And at some point in time, they're going to have to make a decision. They're going to either make a serious run at this thing or this is going to be another placeholder campaign. And so if Sean wants to make a serious run out of it, he's got to do a couple of things. He's got to communicate and crawl up the backside of the GOP at the state and county level. He's got to be in their ear all the time. But at the same time, they've got to make sure that he has the campaign infrastructure around him. Somebody to run his campaign well, somebody to market him. They need to get him money. They need to get him materials. So the two sides right now, so you've got the two sides. They're like this, and they're just not, they've got to come together. And so right now, that is a huge problem for him. But they've got plenty of time to put this, put the ship right. It's just that usually when an opportunity pops up like this in campaigns that I've seen in the past, where maybe there's a fracture that you can exploit, usually there's at least an attempted influx of money. Let's throw something at it and see what happens. If this sticks, we'll invest in it. If it doesn't stick, we'll still back out. And that's not happening. So I don't know what needs to happen to make this work. But yeah, from what I hear, there has to be better communication on both sides. But if he's going to get his name out there, he needs somebody to run his campaign for him, and he needs money for that. So you're not wrong, Sam. But from his perspective, he's like, I got to have the funds. So if he doesn't get the funds, he doesn't get the funds. You can't hire people if you don't have any money.
At Weaver Ag and Lawn Equipment, we believe hard work doesn't have to be hard or expensive, and having the right tools will help make hard.
And the party does need to push, but from what I understand, the party doesn't even know when he has a press conference. So, Sean, if you're listening, every time you do anything, okay, just from the bare minimum, because I know that Sean and his people listen on a regular basis. Every time you have an event anywhere, the party needs to know. Every single time. It doesn't matter how little it is. Every single time they have to, and that means a phone call, not an email. Okay, it means picking up the phone and going, Sean Haas, I'm going to have this press conference today. I'm going to do a barbecue that day. I'm going to do this that day, and need you to know about it. And at that point, the party can either decide to push that out to people and support them or not. It's up to them. But there's no money coming into South Bend for the Republican candidate. And part of that could be he's not communicating with us, and so we don't know if he's really serious. And the other part of it could be South Bend's a throwaway race, and we're not going to throw any money at it, which has been the typical case that I have seen since I came to town. So it's, it has certainly been interesting.
You can get this incredible $90 value for just $30. Come check out Ninja Golf's beautiful courts for yourself and save big on summer at
I don't even live in South Bend. Okay? I don't even live in South Bend. But I appreciate the boost of confidence. Like a butterfly. This opportunity is floating away like a butterfly.
for the GOP in South Bend. Now, by the way, I want to say something, too, because I heard something recently as well. And that is there's a communication issue that comes from Sean Haas's campaign, too. I've heard some party officials say that when he does an event, we don't know that he's doing an event. How can we promote an event that he's doing if he isn't telling us that he's doing it? Now, I don't have access to their emails and stuff like that. I don't know who's communicating or doing what. I'm just saying, just telling you what I'm hearing, okay? If the GOP and Sean Haas's campaign can somehow come together as an entity and focus on this race and get money behind his campaign and get professionals running his campaign and making sure that they make a serious run at this. I mean, what is the fourth largest city in Indiana? Something like that. It's a big deal. I mean, it's the city of a presidential candidate, for crying out loud. But more than that, it's our community. And if there's a large segment of our community that believes that the party of their representation hasn't done any good for them since 1972, since before I was born, maybe that community wants to consider the possibility of looking elsewhere too. Okay, now maybe Sean's your guy, maybe he's not your guy. You have to evaluate that for yourself, but there's an opportunity there from a political strategy point. If I'm a political strategist, I am looking at this race and I'm going into these communities, these predominantly black communities that are disenfranchised with police, disenfranchised with the mayor, disenfranchised with the party. And I'm looking at them and I'm going, all right, you're not happy. Tell me why you're not happy. Let them explain it. And then go, all right, since 1972, what has the ruling party done to fix those issues that you are now complaining about? I'm willing to bet they won't have an answer for you. Now, if they don't have an answer for you, at that point, you have to look at them and you have to go, all right, so why won't you support me then? Why won't you try something different than what hasn't worked since 1972? And let's see if they have an answer for that. I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will have an answer for that. I don't know. I certainly hope that they don't think that they're dealing with evil versus more evil. I certainly hope that is not the case. But and again, Mueller is his own man. Just because he comes from the Buttigieg administration does not mean he's going to do things the same way. But from a Republican strategy aspect of it, you could certainly make that case. You could put that doubt in voters' heads that, look, he's kind of a protege of Pete Buttigieg. Why wouldn't he do similar things to Pete Buttigieg, which you say aren't working for you? I'm not going to do things the same way. I'm doing things the other way. So, and again, that could be a very effective message. But there's no message if there's no money, right? So, but again, maybe they don't want to give you money if you're not communicating. So I'm not trying to harp on anybody. I'm just calling this as an observer who has been through many, many campaigns and seen the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, especially in tough races where there's traditionally not been the other party. Now, what else have we seen over the past? It's not even the past, few years, the past like decade or so. What have we seen? A lot of places that are solidly red or blue that go the other way and shocks the country, including the last presidential election. So perhaps, just throwing it out there, maybe you stop doing things the old way. There's a guy in the big house, the White House. He showed you all how to do things the new way. Might be time to pay attention to what he's doing, because it worked. So maybe doing things the way you did it 10 years ago, not the best strategy. Got more coming up. 95.3 MNC.
WTRC FM and HD1.
What's up, Kiefer? It?
Your top stories right now. The big question is where? Lisa Brady, Fox News.
5 o'clock.
Now a Category 3 storm, 115 mile per hour winds. You know exactly where it will land.
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
I have watched multiple candidates for South Bend Mayor, and I have watched none of them get support. And by the way, not all of them were worthy of support. Just saying that has been the pattern. And I get it. You want to throw your money into council races or commission races or things of that nature where you're going to win or have a chance. I get it. I totally do. I really do. There's a finite amount of money that a political party has to spend, and you'd rather use it to win the seats that you can win than waste it on seats that you can't. But there is an opportunity in South Bend right now that they have not had, not in 10 years at least, and I'm only going back from my memory here. If they can exploit that, who knows? And if a Republican mayor came in and did a damn good job in the city of South Bend, I mean, maybe South Bend isn't a blue city anymore. Just a thought. They don't pay me for this information, but I give it to them freely.
On again over the faulty background check that allowed Dylan Roof to buy the gun used to kill 9 people in a South Carolina church. An appeals court panel reversing an earlier ruling that tossed out the suit. The FBI has said a drug arrest weeks before the shooting should have prevented Roof from buying a gun. Mixed finish on Wall Street, the Dow up 35 points. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and among this afternoon's top stories, it is now known why the former Associate Director of the Indiana Department of Child Services resigned suddenly back in July.
Todd Meyer, who was handpicked to help reform DCS, resigned July 16th, the day after an intern in the department reported that Meyer had been sending her inappropriate text messages. Governor Eric Holcomb confirmed the Indy Star's report yesterday.
I can tell you that the individual in the story is not just not welcome in state government, but he will not be able to be employed in state government in the future.
The intern reported to Human Services that Meyer had been texting her late at night, calling the text creepy. Holcomb said he was disgusted and beyond disappointed in the situation.
That's 95.3 MNC's Carl Stutzman reporting. For the second time in 3 years, a Michiana town has been named Community of the Year by the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. The slogan of Plymouth is where community and possibilities connect, and that's a mindset that has led to significant partnerships and significant projects. The state's chamber says that has created a special buzz about the city, which led them to reward Plymouth with the 2019 Republic Airways and Lyft Academy Community of the Year Award. Goshen was the winner in 2017. The announcement today came on the opening day of the Marshall.
Hey, I just said some brilliant stuff that none of you heard. And it was really good though, wasn't it, Joe? It was good stuff. It was really good. It was really, I hit the thing. It just didn't click over. I did. I totally hit it. Didn't click over. Just know that what I just said was very, very profound. It was genius. I can't remember all of that. Damn it. It was good. Sorry. What do you want from me? It's my last day before vacation. It was so good, too. Damn. I mean, there are people that think a Republican's never going to win here. Okay. And maybe not, but what if Sean Haas didn't win but made a race out of it? Kind of what I was saying is, Mueller's job right now is to not say anything, not debate, not say anything, not issue any statements, do nothing, because he's the projected runaway favorite. So all he has to do is keep his mouth shut. That's it. Sean has to make all of the noise. That's his job. He's got to raise hell because nobody knows who he is. So that's why Mueller is not really, I think last I heard he was going to try. He said he was going to commit to multiple debates, and now he's not going to commit to multiple debates. Yeah. And his statement on the Housing Authority, nebulous statement, doesn't mean anything. And so that's his job. Just don't make a mistake. If you don't make a mistake, you can win this thing if you're Mueller. But if you turn it into a race, who knows? You never know. Could be good. Be good for me if it becomes entertaining, that's for sure. There's no doubt that Sean's got an uphill battle, but the parties have to support him, and he has to make sure that they have all of the information that they need to support him. If that doesn't happen, nobody's going to win.
I've got great news. Mortgage interest rates have dropped. So if you're
Take care, Clinton. Appreciate it.
Right now is the time to lock that low rate, even before you find the home of your dreams. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, the low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
From the Final Phase Electric Studios, from the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson
On News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. US 6 is down to one lane between Ligonier and Syracuse due to an accident. I am told that you want to avoid that, so appreciate that update. Thank you very much. Casey, is anybody working on the DNC hackers, IT, Pakistanis working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz and 40 Dem congressional members? That's all over with. Okay. So Imran Awan he's an intelligent agent, probably for Pakistan. Now, if you don't know, Pakistan's intelligence agency works for the Russians. All right. That's pretty much what they do. They do whatever the Russians want them to do. And I believe there was a deal, some kind of a swap or something of that nature, and they neglected to file charges. We went over this a couple of times before, but it does periodically come up because people are like, whatever happened to Imran Awan? And it's always a great question. Last updates that we had were interesting, but still, it is what it is. Casey, if they can't rally behind Sean, their concerns will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't see that ? Here's the deal. Okay, so you have to put yourself also in the Republican Party's perspective. No Republican has won South Bend since 1972. So if you are going to put your money into campaigns, and remember, there's a finite amount of money. If you're the GOP, why waste money on a race you're not going to win? You put it into races that you have a chance of winning, right? And since South Bend is so solidly blue, then maybe you don't put a lot of effort into that. So from a fiscal perspective, you have to appreciate and accept the GOP's logic over the past several elections, okay? All I'm saying is, from a political stratagem perspective here, if you are the GOP and you are ever going to make a move on South Bend, this is the time to do it. And, look, ultimately, we'll have to see if Sean has the chops to get this done, or if Mueller can sit there and coast into a victory. I mean, that's going to take time. You're right. If they don't throw everything they have at it, then they're not going to win. That's true. But again, if you're the GOP and you waste all of your resources on a race that you won't win, can't win, that sort of thing, then you risk losing other races that you had an opportunity to win because you didn't have the resources in those races. So that's always a balance that political parties have to deal with. And, if you look at various places around Michiana where it's the reverse, Elkhart. In Elkhart, it's a red area. So the Democrats in Elkhart have to pick and choose where they put their money in what races. And they've got races that they have a shot to win at. They've got races that are easy to win, so they can back some resources out of those. And they've got races where they almost never win in those ones. So why bother investing the time, energy, and money into it? This is always the balancing act, okay? Again, purely from a strategy perspective, I'm looking at it as somebody who is very interested in the game and the strategy of politics. And the game of strategy and politics is, all right, well, there's a rift here. Why not exploit it if you're a political party? Okay, if they don't want to exploit it, all right, they won't win. If they do exploit it, they still might lose. The question is, will they damage themselves in other races if they do try to exploit that fissure that is opened up? And that's the real question. And only they can answer that question. Okay? And they've got to have the faith in the candidate to be able to do that. And only time will tell. It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, so a buddy of mine told me about this today. He sent me the article. And by the way, open lines at 5 o'clock. So less than an hour. You've got open lines. You can talk about this or any other issue. This is out of the NZ Herald. The NZ Herald is out of New Zealand. It is the largest circulated newspaper in New Zealand. Just so you know that I'm not about to read to you from The Onion. An ISIS fighter was killed by his own drone bomb. What are some of the ways you might kill yourself with your own drone bomb, Joe? It blows up while you're what?
While you're setting it off, while you're setting.
So you're just like attaching the bomb and then it goes boom. Okay. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. I think of a more funny way.
You crash it into yourself.
You crash it in. How might you crash it into yourself? A lot of these drones, you just push button, take off, and land. I mean, how would you crash into yourself? I mean, I would hope that you're not using one of those that don't have that feature. That would be silly, but that would also be a jihadi move. No, okay, if you're going to mount a bomb to a drone and you're going to fly it somewhere to bomb somebody, maybe charge the batteries? Joe's face right now. I wish you were on camera. Joe's face right now. For those of you who don't know, modern drones have a safety feature built into them, which is if they run out of juice, they return to sender. An ISIS fighter was killed by his own drone bomb when the hapless jihadi forgot to charge the device's battery, sending it straight back to him when its power ran low. His death came during the Battle of Mosul and has been revealed after a security source came forward to share the story. The source told The Sun, "We learned this idiot had wired up his drone with explosives, but was killed when its batteries ran low and it flew home. With a weak signal, for some reason, it detonated over his head." But for those of you who don't know, ISIS used drones a lot in Iraq. So this is a common practice for them. And apparently they used them a lot in Mosul. I didn't know. British troops remain in the area training Iraqi troops and still face drone attacks. As a result, the improvised aerial weapon is made by turning small, inexpensive drones into flying bombs or adapting them to drop grenades. The sources added drone warfare is hugely effective for insurgents. They can see where we are operating, choose targets, then launch a coordinated attack from up to 3 miles away. This caused quite a laugh for us, but the drone threat is very real. The fighter killed himself last year due to his own ineptitude, but is still keeping morale high today. So, I mean, that's a good story. I mean, that's just anytime a jihadi blows himself up, that's good news right there. But I thought maybe, because he told me about this, I'm like, you got to be kidding. It's not real, right? He sent me the link before the show today, and I'm like, all right, I got to trace this down and track it down. Sure enough, it's a real story. And so he puts the bomb on the drone, goes to fly the drone to bomb somebody, but he didn't charge the battery first. And I don't know. Sometimes your charger is hard to find. I mean, there is always that. But do you think he knew that there was an auto return?
Here's what I think happened. He probably went, "Oh man, the battery's low, but it's gonna blow up.
It's
so
gonna
I really
blow
don't
up
need to charge it."
Yeah, so that's what he didn't know about the feature. He's like, well, there's not much battery, but it's only going over there. But again, the drone doesn't calculate one-way battery life. It calculates two-way battery life. And so he's like, yeah, it's got enough juice to get over there and bomb that dude. Nope. I love stories like this. They're good stuff. I wish there was video of it. I really do. Because look, they like to record their own attacks. So I would love it if there was another drone recording this while this happened. Because they like to record their own stuff. That would have been golden, ladies and gentlemen. 95.3 MNC welcomes the Wall That Heals to Michiana. The Wall That Heals is a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial, and it is coming to St. Joseph Funeral Home and Cemetery in South Bend, and it is free for you to see. The Wall That Heals honors more than 3 million Americans who served in the Vietnam War and bears the names of more than 58,000 men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. Again, we invite you to check it out September 19th through the 22nd at St. Joseph Funeral Home and Cemetery in South Bend. We are also live streaming at youtube.com/Casey the Host and twitch.tv/Casey the Host. More coming up, 95.3 MNC.
Breaking news text alerts direct to your smartphone. Details at 953mnc.com.
Can't make that up. Well, that's why it's such a ridiculous story that I had to verify that it was authentic. You know, I had to. But damn good stuff. Folks, watching the leftists send me text messages right now is enough to sustain me. The tears are enough to sustain me for my whole vacation. They are so mad about the South Bend segment. So mad. How dare you? You know what that tells me? The fact that liberals are so pissed off about what I said about this fissure with Democrats in South Bend tells me that I'm right. And they know it, and they are upset. So, like I said, just keep crying those liberal tears. They're going to sustain me for the whole weekend. I am going to be in a pool, but I still need to hydrate. So you keep it going. Plus, tears have salt in them, so I've got my electrolytes too. It's good stuff. Give the coffee away. I will in the 5 o'clock. I already told you that. I already been down this road, man. 5 o'clock. It's happening. Right before open lines. Derpa-doo.
95.3 MNC, your breaking news and weather station.
Summer sun is beating down on that Humberfield.
Roland's got his cookout.
Change your old central air conditioner and furnace for just $18 a week.
I don't know that they're worried, but I think they're angry enough that they understand that this is a real concern for them. So, you know, as far as being worried about losing this race, I don't know. No, it will not be Pat Miller. In fact, remind me, Joe, when I get back to tell everybody what's going on next week. And I need to promote noise. Yeah, it's going to be Matt Locke. Matt Locke is going to do it. So it'll be live and local. Okay. So Matt Locke's going to take care of everything. He's going to come in. He's going to handle the show. We got noise coming up.
That makes sense to you.
Yep. Get a free water heater and air cleaner with system purchase. We've all been there before.
Hydration bucket in the pool. I mean, they're like screeching kids that just got seriously hurt. It's really funny to read their text messages. They are so angry.
With a professional assessment that grows into a full-scale preventative maintenance schedule. Using advanced tools like thermal imaging cameras can help us identify issues that haven't even popped up yet. We even provide 24-hour emergency service. Ask yourself, has my business grown beyond our current resources? Are we pushing our electrical setup too hard?
Somebody says they're seeing Wile E. Coyote. Yup.
One call does it all. 574-522-4444. From plant wiring, service upgrades, energy-efficient lighting, and commercial solutions for every industry. Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep easy. Find us on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.net.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes. Warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack.
but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. That's why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to
I've told Matt
That's ZipRecruiter.
that his music should be a heavy metal version of the intro music of Matlock. I have told him this for years. He will not listen to me. His name is Matt. His last name is Locke. He should have the Matlock theme, but heavy metal. I've tried, folks. I have tried to help the guy out, okay? He's dense as hell, and, I mean, he's so uptight, he could make diamonds with his keister. But I have tried to help him.
A complete recap of the day's news, sports, and traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the 6s. We're back in the morning after 5. It's Michiana's Morning News on News Talk 95.3 MNC.
Yeah, they're losing their minds. By the way, keep crying on my text messaging. Your tears, so mad about what I said about South Bend. Your tears will sustain me throughout my vacation. I will need to hydrate. So thank you very much for filling my cup up. So a couple of things that I have to let you know. One, Matt Locke is going to be filling in for me next week. Okay, so I will be on vacation. A lot of you have asked me who's going to be doing the show. Matt Locke is going to do it, so we'll be live and local. Okay, then we when we get back the week of the 9th, I am going to be making all of the announcements for Noise. Right now, I can tell you that Noise will be November 2nd. So you need to make sure that you block off that date and you can come to Noise. Okay. But we'll actually start doing the ticket sales, do the announcements and everything else the week of September 9th. All right. But then November 2nd is when Noise will actually happen. Okay. So there you go. I think I've covered all of the business that needs to be handled. But if you have any other questions, again, 5 o'clock hour, feel free to give me a holla. All right. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She has warned that diseases could escape from frozen glaciers due to climate change. Aha. They do like a couple of Hollywood movies about that. That glaciers will melt and disease is there, stuff like that. Ice Age kind of did a thing like that where the glaciers melted and that released these predatory fish in one of the Ice Age movies. So, by the way, it can't happen. Just throwing it out there. Democratic New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Did you see the report that almost nobody in her district has donated to her campaign? Did you see that? Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to vote for her. And she does represent a relatively poor district in New York. So that's always, that could be a thing. But like they found like almost no one from her district has actually contributed to her next campaign. So that's interesting. See, AOC told fans on a live stream on Tuesday that if climate change isn't stopped, you can't stop climate change. It has always changed before humans were here. You can't stop it. Okay. Glaciers would melt and expose humans to diseases tens of thousands of years old. Now, hold on just a second. Let me just hashtag liberal logic here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is worried that if the glaciers melt because of man-made global warming, may potentially, possibly, theoretically, could be release a disease which will ravage our world. Huh. What about real diseases? Actual, tangible, demonstrable, real, diagnosed, confirmed, undeniable diseases that come into our country through the southern border. Diseases that we had eradicated. Now, all of a sudden, a problem. I just saw an update on measles. They're showing that measles are all over the United States again. Again, something that really wasn't a problem. All of a sudden, it is again. There's a lot of diseases that come from south of the border that we had eradicated in the United States or near eradicated in the United States. And she doesn't seem to care about those diseases escaping where they are trapped and coming into the U.S. and infecting all of us. Many of those diseases, by the way, can kill. So I thought that was a little interesting. She's really worried about diseases escaping their confinement and making people sick, while also simultaneously not caring about diseases that are escaping their confinement and making people sick. There are a lot of diseases that are frozen in some of these glaciers that scientists fear that there is a potential that a lot of diseases could escape these melted glaciers, she said. Now, keep in mind, she keeps doing the qualifier too. May, potential, could. Yeah, theoretically, I guess, potentially. But I've got actual documented diseases that are coming from south of the border, and she doesn't seem concerned at all with any of those. Things that were frozen for thousands of years and that they're going to get into our water, and that humans could contract them, and they're going to be diseases that are thousands of years old that have vectors that we are not prepared for, that we have never seen, she said. Okay. I'm personally hoping for a caveman to come back to life, like Encino Man, but that's just me. Jerry, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
You were talking about liberal logic with this glacier thing, and I was thinking, well, if this is from thousands of years ago, that must mean that this area used to be warmer than it is now. So this climate warming is nothing new, apparently. Apparently the temperature goes up and down.
What you're saying is, if they got trapped in the ice to begin with, we must have had hairspray or SUVs all of these hundreds of thousands of years ago in order to go ahead and cool off the planet and trap them.
Something like that.
It's almost
the logic. I mean, it's been this warm in the past. Obviously, those people wouldn't be there. Those animals wouldn't be there.
Right. Yeah.
And now they're coming back. So what does that tell you about
we have to stop climate change from releasing things that are trapped in the ice from climate change from before we existed.
All right, that was my point, Casey. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. But look, your SUVs are so bad, ladies and gentlemen, that your smog travels in time. So really, that's, we have the ability in our modern era to handle the greenhouse gases that you emit from your cow fart and everything else that you're doing. Skip cow flatulent. My apologies. Keep forgetting that we changed over from saying fart to flatulent. But they're so bad, they just travel in time. They go back in time and they ruin everything. Anyway, what else did she say? She continued, and so that's a concern. I don't really think the diseases inside the glaciers are a concern. I don't think that's actually a thing, but I digress. Even if there are no diseases frozen at all in these glaciers, you have diseases that are spread by mosquitoes. And mosquitoes are now starting to fly further north that carry diseases like malaria and a whole slew of other things. Okay, first of all, there's a lot wrong with that I won't go into, but maybe you should just let us start killing the mosquitoes. If you start letting us kill the mosquitoes the way that we want to kill the mosquitoes, then we don't have to worry about the malaria and everything else. A freshman congresswoman has made climate change one of her key issues. It is not one of the key issues of the American voting bloc, by the way, although there was a survey that just came out that young voters really are concerned about climate. The problem is that there's not that many of them. Earlier this year, she released her Green New Deal, which everybody laughed at, including people on the left. It was hysterical. It was a good comedy routine. But I'm just sitting here like, wait a minute. You're worried about a theoretical possibility that is improbable. You're worried about those diseases getting out of the glaciers, but you're not worried about the actual diseases that we had eradicated that are now making its way all across the United States because of the southern border, which you support not controlling. very interesting logic that they have, these people. I don't know if they just don't think before they talk or if they just carefully pick out what sounds the best. I'm not really sure, but hey, if you're worried about the glaciers and all of the diseases and stuff like that, you find a way to get some chloroday and kill some mosquitoes. Just use your restricted use license. Don't do it if you're a layman, because that's dangerous, if you will. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. So is that Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill today for Pass the Mic. By the way, thank you for everybody who came out to Pass the Mic, and thank you for Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill for hosting us. Somebody asked me a question yesterday. Casey, will Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill, do they have things that are keto and carnivore friendly, low carb options? Yeah, absolutely. So I get the steak and shrimp dinner regularly over at Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill, and I just have them, don't give me any of the vegetables, don't give me any of the rice, none of the beans that come with it, just the steak and just the shrimp. Sometimes I'll do the cheese sauce that goes on it. Sometimes I will not. Just kind of depends on how things have been going for me. And they will absolutely customize that stuff for you, okay? So yes, if you want to go to Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill and enjoy something that is specific to your diet, they will totally do that for you. And they do catering. They do all sorts of amazing stuff. So go to MontereyMexican.com. Again, MontereyMexican.com, or visit them in person on McKinley and Division in Mishawaka. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk.
Guess whose Twitter account just got hacked? Who? Jack, the CEO. Jack Dorsey's Twitter account has been hacked, and tweet storms racist comments. I'll be back. That is funny. You need an SSD. Your hard drive is really that bad.
Oh, it is an SSD.
Oh, and it's still that bad?
No, it's fine now.
No.
There's a move in Pokemon called Horn Drill that's an instant one-hit KO.
Oh, I gotcha.
And I said, Horn Drill.
Gotcha. There's a hard drive.
Ohio is also listed as one of the most underfunded states.
That's 95.3 MNC's Heather Starr. And Elkhart-based RV maker Thor Industries has pledged a multi-million-dollar gift to the National Forest Foundation, which is the nonprofit partner of the U.S. Forest Service.
The company would not disclose specific financial details other than to say the initial length of the partnership is for 3 years. The NFF's job is to promote the use of natural forests across the U.S. The recreational vehicle maker is encouraging its customers to explore and enjoy the forests. Thor's gifts will go toward improving recreation sites and campgrounds and helping to make them more sustainable. The nonprofit also says the money will help engage youth in conservation work and engage groups and volunteers to help improve forest health.
95.3 MNC's Carl Stutzman reporting. Hurricane Dorian now a Category 3 storm with winds of 115 miles per hour.
I just changed the climate a little bit. Oh, by the way, I spilled my drink earlier at 5 days in a row. I've never gone 5 days. Well, it was funny that Al sent me that. I forgot to tell you.
No, you told me.
No, I mean I forgot to tell you about spilling it. Spilled my drink earlier today at my meeting.
At your meeting?
Yep. Luckily, it was. No, not. You know what? It wasn't at the meeting. It was at the show that I recorded this morning. I spilled it upstairs.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. The Prime Table is open Labor Day from 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Now, Home Comfort Experts, your air conditioning professionals' first warning forecast.
This evening will be mostly cloudy with temperatures.
Anal cranial inversion.
Tomorrow morning, temperatures will be around 51, and for our Saturday,
You got it, Todd.
becoming mostly cloudy in the evening.
I mean, 5 days in a row, and I never spill my damn drink. 5 days in a row. I've spilled it every friggin' day. Every day. I have had a terrible week of eating. There is no doubt. So yesterday, I'm really hurting today. Yesterday, I got home. Remember I sent that message to my wife to pick up some meat while I was here? She didn't. So I got home, had to go to the store, and I picked up a bunch of meat, and I'm starving. I'm like, okay, by the time I get home, it's going to be the kids' bedtime. I don't have enough time to cook, so I just picked up some sushi, right? It wasn't enough, and I got so hungry later in the night, I had a bowl of cereal. I woke up, I sat up out of bed this morning, and my stomach, and I kid you not, for 20 minutes straight, was gurgling. From the moment I got up to the moment I got into work, and it did not stop. And I have been in pain and swollen all day. All day.
Before you sell your current one. That and more this Saturday. Listen Saturday at 9 on 95.3 MNC and Wise Money Radio.
The Fox Business Report, powered by Home Comfort Experts, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Keep your hard-working AC running smooth with a tune-up today. Call 255-4600.
My wife's probably going to make me drive up to Traverse City, too. Dang it.
You've complained about that already.
Have I? Today or no? Okay. Is Dean with us? Has Dean joined us yet? I don't think I've seen Dean. I got to send him the. Not that I can do anything about it over the weekend. I got to send him the code that my wife ended up finding out on the car.
And households ramping up their spending in July, providing reassurance that the economy's expansion continues, with consumer spending rising 0.6% in July, pick up from the previous 2 months, according to the Commerce Department. And United Airlines is now saying it doesn't plan to fly the Boeing 737 MAX jets until December 19th, more than a month later than previously expected. The move comes as the grounding of the jets approaches the 6-month mark, and flight cancellations mount for the holiday season. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Billy Volsky.
Fox News prescription products require an online physician consultation and only available if the physician determines the prescription is appropriate. See website for full
Well,
details.
at least this one will
The
be
expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/joy.
Casey, what if the CDC is blown up by terrorists and all of the diseases there are unleashed?
Your first
Hell.
for just $5, you need to go to 4hims.com/joy. That's
Not his way.
.com/joy.
The policy experts call
Yep.
it socialized medicine. The liberals call it a good start.
Yeah.
They're talking about Nancy Pelosi's plan for a government
Okay.
takeover of your prescription drug benefits.
Do you want me to throw the abate on there too? Okay. I mean, since it's happening this weekend. So, okay.
Access to the most effective drugs in Medicare.
Yeah.
Their
Okay.
plan
All
means
right.
prescription drug rationing, government price fixing, and bureaucrats controlling your access to new treatments.
Yeah, most, at least all the Dells nowadays are running on that.
What the Dell?
The liberal socialist agenda begins by targeting your prescription drug benefits.
I need an SSD for my PlayStation. I need an extra hard drive. I don't have enough space.
Urge Congresswoman Jackie Walorski to oppose the liberal
Yup.
socialist plan for your prescription drug benefits. Paid for by the American Action Network.
Now, if
When I got my cancer
nothing but
diagnosis,
foolish
I turned to Goshen Center for Cancer Care, and right from the start, I knew I'd made the right choice. At Goshen, I have a whole team of specialists, all under one roof. They work together to share knowledge and monitor my treatment.
Sorry, I've got to do some stuff.
Here, I have doctors who take time to answer my
What?
questions and
I'm
get
talking
to
to
know
myself, sorry.
from
I apologize.
Yeah, you
Naturopathic
should.
medicine
Shame on you.
and counseling that nurtures my body and soul. And financial counselors who work with my insurance company and help me find resources like copay assistance for my medications.
From the moment I walk through the door, I have personalized care and the attention of an entire team.
Because they're not just focused on treating cancer, they're focused on treating me. And at Goshen, we're all in this together. To learn more, visit GoshenCancerCare.com.
People who say we're all in this together are the first people to not be in it with you. when it's needed. I'm just throwing that out there. Stop getting your ass kicked in Pokemon, dude.
Can't help it when they're all using one-hit KO moves and they use them and they hit every single time. It's BS.
I'm coming. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. And, okay, so I just got this update. This is interesting. Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey's account has been hacked. He's at Jack on Twitter. The official account of Jack Dorsey, the co-founder of the social media platform, was hacked on Friday. One of the first tweets sent from his compromised account was the N-word. Another sent minutes later praised Hitler. Dorsey has more than 4.2 million followers. We're aware that Jack was compromised and investigating what happened, according to the platform's official communications handle, tweeted minutes later. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it was I'm going to say that was probably a right-leaning hacker, proving a point that, oh, look, you can go back in time and take a look at all these old tweets and everything else. So not that I am endorsing it, ladies and gentlemen. I am not endorsing it. I'm just letting you know that happened. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. Casey, there have been 3 ice ages. Also, the aminals in the area when these icebergs formed were not evolved enough to be in line as a harborer of any compatible disease for Homo sapiens. And it's a good point about AOC, talking about the border thing. You know, okay, this is another thing, too. Most diseases don't cross species. So maybe there is a species in there. But you know, what if it is a silver lining for AOC? What if the disease that frees itself from the glacier kills off all of the cows? Isn't that what she wanted? Right? So, I mean, AOC wanted to kill off all of the cows. So what if the thing that escapes kills cows? It could be a good thing that the glaciers are melting, AOC. You gotta think about this positively. Okay? If you don't think about it positively, then you're never going to have a good time. Casey, add a mosquito net to the top of the wall. Kill the mosquitoes with DDT. AOC's a puppet. The disease is her. Casey, what if the CDC is blown up by terrorists and all of those diseases are unleashed? From what I understand, that's kind of protected in some of the really bad diseases that they're doing. Again, I suppose there's always something that could happen and get out, but I mean, they allegedly have a plan in place for that. Casey, honestly, would it be all bad? We need a new plague. Okay. Didn't I start off the show by saying not to wish harm on? Okay. Good to know that we're consistent, at least. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. Don't forget, open lines comes up at 5 o'clock as we head into the Labor Day weekend. All right, Space Command is here, ladies and gentlemen. The president made the announcement. If you go over to the Daily Caller, they will talk about this. President Donald Trump officially revived the U.S. Space Command on Thursday, a long-defunct division of the Defense Department that represents a major step towards a potential new Space Force military branch. U.S. Space Command was originally decommissioned in 2002, but is now being revived to meet the evolving threats of America's global adversaries. President Trump first floated the idea, it's funny because it's space, of Space Force in 2018, which calls for an entirely new military branch devoted to combat beyond Earth's atmosphere, but the plan requires congressional approval. And depending on the makeup of Congress at the time that this thing actually gets voted on, it could very well pass. Here's the thing, even the far left has to understand that there is a threat from space. And I'm not talking about little green aliens, although that might be a real thing. Who knows? But there are more and more space weapons programs from Russia, from China, from others. And China has been very vocal about wanting to weaponize space. They have not minced words about that, even though there's supposed to be treaties in place, et cetera, et cetera. But I've told you before, giant space lasers, you neutralize anybody from anywhere from space. You don't jeopardize any lives. You don't blow up massive buildings or anything like that and risk collateral damage. Just, hey, terrorist is walking down the street and he's gone. That's it. Just dust at that point in time. That's what we need to do. As the newest combatant command, SpaceCom will defend America's vital interests in space, the next warfighting domain, President Trump said. Our adversaries are weaponizing Earth's orbits with new technology. This is true. Targeting American satellites. True. That are critical to both battlefield operations and our way of life at home. True. All of those things are happening. None of that is in dispute. President Trump appointed Air Force General John Raymond to lead SpaceCom, which was originally founded in 1985, but dissolved following the 9/11 terror attacks, according to Foreign Policy magazine. General Raymond told reporters that Russia and China were investing heavily in space, potentially making the environment a weakness for the U.S. We are the best in the world at space today, but our level of superiority is diminishing, he said. Space will not be an Achilles heel. Yes. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table. I was waiting for the Walking Dead references. I was waiting for it.
Tonight will be mostly to partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to 51. And for our Saturday, it will be mostly sunny for the majority of our day, with some clouds moving in during the evening. Chance for a showery then. Highs will make it up to 75. For our Sunday, that's going to be our rainiest day of Labor Day weekend. Highs up to 75, but scattered showers possible, especially during the morning and afternoon. On Monday, we'll have a beautiful, warmer day with highs up to 80 and mostly sunny skies. And we'll keep warming up towards Tuesday with a high of 84 and partly sunny skies. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Erica Horvatin.
95.3 M&C welcomes The Wall That Heals to Michiana. The Wall That Heals is a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
I'll take it.
It's coming to St. Joseph Funeral Home and Cemetery in South Bend.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
The Wall That Heals.
Can I ask what you're calling about, please?
Americans who served in the Vietnam War and bearing the names of more than 58,000 men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. The Wall That Heals, September 19th through the 22nd at St. Joseph Funeral Home and Cemetery in South Bend.
Hi, this is Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, call me at 574.
Unfortunately, I can't put you through as that's not really our topic right now, but if you call back in like 20 minutes during open lines, I can put you through that.
Any price range and in any location.
Yep.
I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month and I want to buy even more.
Joe.
Call me
I'm
at
his producer.
574-294-5678. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenants
What was that?
to pay me their rent.
She wanted to talk to you and thank you for supporting Tom Haas and the Lincoln Bacon and everything.
Great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 574.
Woo, dang. A lot of people are liking that terrorist post. I just put it up there. Holy smokes.
574-294-5678.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is...
Simone Biles' brother has been charged in a triple homicide.
ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast.
Okay.
So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And
Larry Johnson rips effeminate agenda in NBA and NFL.
Exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com.
That's funny.
ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, I'm Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. We guide you through the entire purchase, the selections, the finishes. We coordinate it all. Not that, oh my, there's so many options, it gets confusing, we're not sure what to do. We help guide you through that process. We don't dictate. We listen to what you're telling us.
Oh, he's going to catch some shit for that. Wow. Larry Johnson's tweet. He's going to catch some hell for that. Former NFL running back Larry Johnson, he used to play for the Chiefs. There is an effeminate agenda going on amongst the NBA and NFL elite, peddled by high-ranking Masons/handlers to indoctrinate the heterosexual sports world without them knowing, for the buying power of the LGBTQ community. Yeesh. And he did this after an NFL free agent came out as bisexual. Well, it's a good thing he's not playing anymore, because he'd have some contract issues after that one.
Get that same outstanding protection with our new Paramount One Coat White. This first of its kind One Coat Ready Mix White provides a beautiful white finish. You'll find Paramount paint exclusively at Menards. In third-party test, interior paint claims versus super premium home center brands in eggshell sheen.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings are a mail-in rebate. See store for details.
We keep you updated all night long with the Lars Larson Show. Tune in weeknights 9 till midnight on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, you are about 8 minutes away from open lines. I mean, when the lines officially open, then we have to get through the news break after that. But as always, it is better for you to call early. Okay. Last week we were packed and slammed. I don't know how this week is going to go with the Labor Day approaching. It's typically a pretty slow day for radio, but you never know. I also wanted to thank everybody for coming out to Pass the Mic. We had a pretty full house today, and want to thank Dr. Lisha Town from Thrive DPC for joining me as my special guest. That is my doctor. It's the one that you guys all keep asking me about. She was there to answer a bunch of questions about what DPC care is, how it works, and how it can benefit other people. So that was always good. It's always nice when you have a guest, and it's really interesting content that not a lot of people get. So it's always nice to have that. She also came in the middle of her day. She didn't have to. So, all right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. There's a new immigration policy that a lot of people have not been discussing. Somebody sent this to me. It's from the Military Times. And I said, you should probably talk about this. There's going to be some people who kind of lose their mind about it, I think. The agency in charge of approving U.S. citizenship has updated its definition of residence as it relates to eligibility to become a citizen, according to a policy memo released Wednesday. It might affect the foreign-born children of some service members, military, when it takes effect on October 29th. Okay. Children born to or adopted by some U.S. service members overseas are no longer automatically considered U.S. residents or entitled to U.S. citizenship, according to the policy. The policy update does not affect anyone who is born a U.S. citizen, period, says Ken Cuccinelli, acting director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, in a statement. This only affects children who are born outside the United States and were not U.S. citizens. Okay, now this is important. Examples of that situation include a U.S. service member and partner or dual military couple stationed in South Korea who adopt a local South Korean child, or a non-citizen U.S. service member and partner or non-citizen dual military couple who have a child while serving in Germany. In either case, The children would no longer be considered residents based on their parents' established U.S. residency and must apply for citizenship rather than have it guaranteed as it would have been guaranteed in the past. Okay. So there's some people already starting to grumble about this. Some of them appear to not fully understand the policy. So let me explain. If you got a member of the military, they are obviously a U.S. citizen. Any kid that they have is a U.S. citizen automatically. Okay? Any U.S. citizen who has a baby, doesn't matter where it is, that baby's U.S. citizen. Period. However, if you are a member of the military, you're stationed in South Korea, and you adopt a South Korean child, they don't become a citizen simply because you adopted them. They're not your flesh and blood. They're not a citizen from birth. They're a citizen of South Korea. And simply because you adopted them, they do not automatically become a U.S. citizen. There are members of the military who serve in the U.S. military who are not U.S. citizens. If you are serving in the military and you are not a U.S. citizen and you have a child with someone who is also not a U.S. citizen, your child is no longer considered a U.S. citizen. You're not a citizen, the spouse or the partner is not a citizen, and therefore the kid is not a citizen. That's all it affects, okay? This does not affect a U.S. citizen who is stationed abroad and has a child, okay? I've seen that floating around. I don't know how they could have been more clear about this policy, but I guess it's the par for the course. People don't understand the policy. So anyway, the policy will not affect children born to U.S. citizens serving abroad. Those children are still entitled to automatic citizenship. This does not impact birthright citizenship. Okay? Birthright citizenship is guaranteed automatically to children of U.S. citizens living abroad who have established residency in the United States. This policy update does not deny citizenship to the children of U.S. government employees or members of the military born abroad. But the new policy places an unfair burden on children born to non-citizen service members, according to a spokesman for the D.C.-based federal employment and military law firm. If both parents are U.S. citizens, their children have derivative citizenship regardless. So this is a penalty placed upon those who would serve their country and do not have a say where they are stationed. That is Sean May of the Federal Practice Groups told the Military Times all of this. But here's the thing. All right. If you are not a citizen of the United States and you're trying to earn your citizenship by serving the country, there's no guarantee that you will serve honorably. There's no guarantee that you're going to get that citizenship. Now, there's a program for you to do that. And I suppose the suggestion would be while you are going through that program and you're not a U.S. citizen, don't get knocked up. Probably going to be the best policy. Or don't get anybody pregnant, too, by the way, because you can also have a male service member who engages in a relationship with a woman who is a citizen of another country. If you don't do that, you'll be fine. Other than that, you know, there you go. The Pentagon, by the way, they asked the Pentagon, thehill.com asked the Pentagon, what's the impact of this? And the Pentagon's it's small. Very few people are actually, involved in this. The Pentagon basically said, this is pretty much designed to be a thing that helps clarify the situation for a lot of folks because they have been ramping up their service to citizenship program in the past couple of years. And there's some people who don't establish U.S. citizenship and they engage in relations with other people who have not established their U.S. citizenship or other people of citizens of other countries. And then because they're serving in the U.S. military, even though they aren't a citizen, they're hoping that because they are in service of this country that their kid is granted automatic citizenship, and that is no longer the case. All right, we got open lines coming up here in just a couple of seconds. I would start calling now, and we got your open line phone calls next on 95.3 MNC.
WTRC FM and HD1, Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Okay, I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and I'll come back and I'll do the coffee giveaway.
early Tuesday.
If it does make landfall the way it is likely to, it would be a really big storm surge, a really big wind event, and a really big rain event. Sometimes you don't have all of those things happen in one storm, but we likely would.
Fox chief meteorologist Rick Lightyear says Georgia and South Carolina should be preparing as well. Storm prep in high gear in Florida. Some gas stations running out of fuel already. Fox's Evan Brown is tracking Dorian live in Broward County.
And Lisa, the new advisory just out says Dorian's sustained top wind is now at 115 miles an hour. The hurricane strength winds do extend 30 miles out from the center, but the winds of tropical storm force extend 115 miles out, meaning the storm is roughly 230 miles wide. The updated track now shows a slightly northern bend compared to earlier, with the eye landfall north of Palm Beach County, and its northward turn keeping the eye closer to the coastline, ending up over Jacksonville by Wednesday, maybe.
Thanks, Evan. Well, at least 17 Florida counties already closing schools on Tuesday. The U.S. Navy moving aircraft and ships out of harm's way. Cruise lines altering plans as well. It's been business as normal so far for the airports. Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble at O'Hare in Chicago.
American, Delta, JetBlue, United, all the major airlines offering travelers the opportunity to change their flights or even cancel them without any fees. But we see people showing up here getting on the plane.
All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to need you all. Wow, there's a bunch of phone calls coming in, and my guy's not answering the phones. Damn, there was 3 lines coming in there, Joe. 3 lines. What are you doing? You're looking at your phone.
News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
I'm going to switch over to the contest page. Just let me know if you can hear me on that page, okay?
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
All right.
Alrighty.
Can you hear me now?
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? Alrighty, I'll try to get you on there.
Just like that. All right. Okay, Tracy says yes, we can hear. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? We got 2 prizes. Here it goes. Draw winners. 2 winners. No repeat winners. Draw. There was like 150 entries or something like that. There you go. So Michael Lejour and Zach Denko. Congratulations. You are my winners.
Hi.
What's up, John?
One more thing.
Yeah.
I need the Wise Money show for next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You got it.
It's cold in here.
Yes.
It is. It's a little nipply. Yes. So Michael and Zach, congratulations to both of you. Thank you so much for entering the contest. I will be in contact with you guys. You're putting on a full-fledged effing jacket right now.
I'm cold.
Turn the heat up.
John just did. But it doesn't kick it
It's
out.
a jacket.
Yes. And it's working.
Sorry, Alex. So there you go. So I will be in contact with them to go ahead and get them the coffee. And yeah. Sorry.
The day's top local news, updated around the clock, plus live streaming audio at 95.mnc.com.
By the way, I had some people that passed the mic today. Like, does Ted ever come?
He came to one that I was at one time.
Was he at a pass the mic? Oh, he was at one pass the mic. He was. I forgot about that. I was thinking, no, he comes to noise, but.
Stuff a Truck donation drive on Saturday, September 7th at the Mishawaka Goodwill store.
So I'll have to do something for my mods. Don't worry. I just need to get back from vacation first. But
as a card holder, you'll earn points on purchases at retail stores operated by Goodwill Industries.
There you go.
You'll also enjoy exclusive Good Points 50% off sales. Bring your donations to the Mishawaka Goodwill store on Saturday, September 7th from 9 to to 11 a.m. While you're there, shop the Good Points 50% off sale in the retail store. Your donations and purchases help Goodwill continue their mission to strengthen communities by empowering individuals and families through education.
Michiana's News Channel, would you like to talk to Casey?
Join MNC on Saturday, September 7th at the Mishawaka.
All right, can I get your first name, please?
11 a.m. Sponsored by ABC 57 News.
All right, I will try to keep you on there.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner.
Full
CEO
phone
of
lines
Quicken Loans,
on a
America's
Labor
largest
Day
mortgage lender.
weekend.
Let's talk credit card debt for a minute. If you feel you're carrying too much of it, you're not alone. The average household in the U.S. carries over $8,000 in credit card debt. Ready
Give
for
the mods
some
more
news?
work.
With a cash out refinancing Quicken Loans, you can quickly and
I didn't win, but I'm glad that
easily
Alex didn't either. That's funny.
good use by paying off a
That
loan
was
at
funny.
high interest credit card
That's
debt.
good stuff right
Great
there.
way to take cash
I
out
don't
is
care who
with
you
our
are.
30-year fixed rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 4.125%. APR 4.22%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN to learn how taking cash out with a 30-year
I like
fixed mortgage
certain
might be
jackets
the
too.
right
I'm not wearing them when it's hot as hell.
It's not. I am cold.
JD Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation
Okay.
in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination.
Whatever you
Call us
say,
today,
man.
800
Whatever you say.
rocketmortgage.com.
As hell.
You lived in Vegas. How's this hot as hell?
I get hot real easy.
From the Final Phase Electric Studios, from the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial.
All right, here we go.
This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. 10 dedicated shooting lanes. You can shoot rifle and pistol. Yes, they have rentals. You can also get discounts on the store, including ammo and accessories, as well as targets. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. Real quick before we kick off open lines, I am on vacation next week. My buddy Matt Locke is going to be coming in and joining me. We've already made fun of his name, and I told everybody. I told him years ago, your theme song when you do your show should be the Matt Locke intro, but heavy metal. He hasn't listened to me. I've given him the golden advice. It's entirely up to him how he proceeds. But Matt Locke is going to be filling in for me. A lot of you were asking who is going to be doing it. So Matt's going to be doing this. It'll be a live and local show all next week. And then following next week, when I come back from vacation, we will do all of the announcements for Noise. Okay, so MNC's Noise is coming up on November 2nd. Make sure you block off that day so you'll be able to go. And we'll do all of the announcements on the week of September 9th. All right, so a lot of stuff to get out of the way and a lot of busy things happening as we head into this season. All right, it is open lines, the final hour free-for-all, the last before I go on vacay. So here we go. Matt, your leadoff hitter today. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Hey, I just found out about it, but you know they're bringing back the Grissom Air Force, the air show next weekend?
I did not know that.
Yeah, the Thunderbirds, the Golden Knights, and a bunch of surprise stuff. Admission's free. Great thing to take the kids and everybody down to. There's a concert, and you get into the museum and all that stuff.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, and you Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels. So I guess, yeah, because the Blue Angels are flying.
No, not the Blue Angels, the Golden Knights.
Okay, I thought you said all three. Okay, so the Thunderbirds and then the Golden Knights are going to be doing their thing. Golden Knights are great to see, by the way. Yeah, that's going to be a blast. That sounds great.
Yeah, and there's a concert and beer tents and
nice. And that's at Grisham?
Blowout down there.
You said that's at Grisham?
Yeah, it's at Grissom Air Force.
Okay, cool. That's neat.
They said they have shuttles and all that kind of stuff, but I just heard about it.
I didn't know about it. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you don't advertise on this radio station, I generally don't hear about it.
Yeah, no. Me neither.
There's a lot of businesses who start advertising with us who go, we should have done this a lot sooner. Yeah. But no, that's great. I'm glad you heard about it because now we were able to pass it on to everybody. So.
Yeah, because it'd be a great thing for the kids. I mean,
heck yeah.
The Thunderbirds are awesome.
Oh, yeah, they're great to see. I've only seen them once, even though I lived where Nellis Air Force was, but I've only seen them once, but it's always great to see them. And the Golden Knights are always a blast, too. Always. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate the info, man. All right, you take care.
No problem.
All right.
Bye.
574-25-95-95-3. Frankie, welcome to the program.
Hey, how's it going, Casey?
It's going well, man. What's up?
Well, I just kind of wanted to touch on that vape epidemic that's kind of going on right now.
Yeah, air quote so-called epidemic, yeah.
Yeah, air quote epidemic. I myself vape. Me and my wife, we actually quit smoking February 23rd of this year.
Good for you guys.
And we used vaping in order to quit smoking cigarettes, and I smoked for 14 years. I'm 28 years old. I smoked cigarettes for 14 years. I never thought I was going to be able to quit. I went to vaping. Me and my wife both cold turkey, quit smoking, started vaping. We were able to quit. Now, I did a lot of research on vaping before I even switched to it because, like I told my wife, I don't want to switch to something if it's going to be as bad, if not worse, than smoking cigarettes.
Correct.
We're trying to better ourselves.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I did a lot of research. Now, with the CDC coming out saying, they're not sure if it's tied to vaping, but you've got different news outlets saying that it's a vape epidemic. There's vaping illnesses going on.
Correct.
This is the only educated guess that I can make. I don't necessarily think that it's a product that has come out that's defective. I think what it is, because I saw an article that had stated where they were talking about THC pods on the street, which they do have people getting THC in vape pods, and there's no way to regulate what's inside of it. Kids don't know what's inside of it with the THC. But I think that kids are getting this stuff off the street because they can vape it, get high, and nobody can tell because they can't smell it because it's vape, and there's no telling what these people are putting in these pods.
This is a really good point. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but we didn't go into great detail about it. Because you have a lot of young people that are doing that with their vape devices now. And obviously we are not talking about the regulated stuff. We're not talking about the commercial enterprise aspect of it. And if all of a sudden, miraculously, 200 people, got something wrong with their lungs as a result of this, it could theoretically be that they're doing this, they're doing drugs with it, or that there is a defective product. But there's no way after a decade of this product being out on the market that all of a sudden miraculously 200 people got sick because vaping is bad. There has to be some extenuating circumstance that is causing 200 people to maybe potentially, and again, the CDC isn't even sure if this exists, may potentially be tied together and maybe have something to do with vaping. So, you bring up an excellent point.
Yeah, well, I've told my dad all the information about it because I gave him a vape device and I'm trying to get him to quit smoking because like 2 days after me and my wife quit smoking, we could breathe better. Our taste started coming back.
Yeah.
We noticed that all of our food was like super salty. Like the sodium that you take while you're smoking is insane because you can't taste it.
That's right.
And he brought it up to me that he was scared to vape because he heard about all these illnesses and he's got COPD and he doesn't want anything worse happening to him. Yeah. And, trying to explain it to him that, vaping's been around for years.
Sure.
And this just out of the blue has just popped up and it's just out of nowhere.
Yeah. And the only thing. Anybody who's looked at the history of vaping and all of the research and studies that have been done on this, including the Mayo Clinic and everybody, none of them have found any negative effects of this. Okay. There's no study that shows a negative effect of vaping that is withheld peer review. None. And to miraculously have 200 people sick means they're jacking with the device. And since tens of thousands of people are doing dope in it, it's possible. Or there's a defective device that is out there that is affecting people. And so and somebody, you don't know it's not vaping. Well, math says it's not vaping. The idea that after a decade, all of a sudden, within a 72-hour period, we've got this one problem that now exists within a short time frame would seem to lean towards there being some kind of a manipulation of the device or a defective device. And a lot of kids are manipulating those devices. There's no doubt about it. Now,
it doesn't matter if it's a vape device or something else on the market.
Yeah,
kids are going to be kids. They're
100%.
Try and be as sneaky as they can.
And something I will throw out a third option here. Okay, and I kind of alluded to this yesterday. Joe had a chest thing. I have a chest thing, but I do not feel sick. Okay, but I've got phlegm in my chest. I just don't feel sick. I don't feel bad. My daughter's kind of got that. I know a couple of people in this office kind of have that. So what if there's just a mild chest virus that's going around? And what you have is a media and politicians over the past several months that have been really demonizing vaping. And now you have a bunch of concerned parents go, well, what if this is tied to vaping? And now they're just sending their kids to the doctor, which is why the CDC said we're not even sure if these things are correlated at all with each other, let alone with vaping.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because my wife actually said that last night because we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Because you had brought up, the vaping after the break there. And she's like, watch, after all this is said and done, it's just going to be some virus that's going around that, a few people got sick and they're trying to tie it to vaping because that's all they can do.
Yeah, my money is when the CDC comes out with this, it is not going to be vaping related.
Yeah.
That's going to be my money.
Yeah, in the public eye, though, the damage is already done because so many people are already scared and they're
100%.
Sheep.
Yep, 100%. So, even if the CDC comes out and says this was a virus that had nothing to do with vaping whatsoever, and people misdiagnosed because of fear, even if the CDC report says that, for the next several years, I will deal with people calling me and sending me messages going, remember when vaping caused all those people to get sick that year? And I'm going to have to debunk that because that Japanese study that showed carcinogens inside vaping, which has been completely destroyed by the scientific community, I still get people who send me links to that in spite of the fact that the study is complete garbage and the scientific community has destroyed it because the guy overheated and burned the coils by superheating them in order to generate a residue that does not exist. So it is what it is, but people see the headlines, they run for that, they don't follow up. And so I hope it doesn't end up being anything tied to this. I hope it just ends up being an innocent little thing that people got freaked out about. If it is tied to vaping, I will be the first one to tell you it's tied to vaping.
Yeah.
All right. I got to run, man. Appreciate the call.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right.
Happy Labor Day.
You too. Happy Labor Day. Appreciate that. All right. We got more open lines coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
The Air Force Band is apparently going to be playing at Notre Dame.
Home comfort experts, your air conditioning professionals, 5-day forecast.
Tonight will be mostly to partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to
Uh-oh.
1. Our Saturday will be mostly sunny for the
They have a typo. August 2017 marks the last performance by Shades of Blue at the Center. Once more, one of the best military bands in the world close out the presenting series' summer season to the sounds of contemporary jazz. 2017, August 2017. So anyway, USAF band apparently is going to be playing on September 11th. So, at Notre Dame. So you can get tickets at the Notre Dame box office.
The risk here for China when it does things like this is simply to galvanize support even more for the president.
We can afford Medicare for all to save our people.
Donald Trump says that climate change is a hoax. Donald Trump is dangerously wrong.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
What do you need done?
Casey, oh my God, sounds like people close by are victims of secondhand vape.
Or maybe you just want an entirely new room added to your home. That's when you call
Funny.
They come to your home with vision and experience that leads to some of the finest projects done in the area. Graber is a family name and it's put on every project they do. There are no corners to cut. Everything is measured twice.
Graver Custom Remodeling works with higher-end vendors, materials, and craftsmen to complete truly custom projects. When you see your new addition in your mind and meet with the Graver team, you begin to see what custom really means. Whether you're restoring a 100-year-old farmhouse, creating your ultimate living space, or taking your kitchen to the next level, make it custom and make it a family decision. Call on the Graver family and Graver Custom Remodeling. Online at gravercustomremodeling.com.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes. Warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a tip.
Oh, Karen, happy birthday.
No fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. That's why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, 574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location.
What's up, Angie?
Or associated with any realty company. I'm a
Oh crap! What was that?
several houses a month, and I want to buy even more.
What?
Call me at 574-294-5678. I buy inherited houses, divorce.
Tracy. Oh my God, I have that. I don't even vape. Must be a secondhand vaping issue from that one time I was near someone vaping. Yep. See, what vaping was a time-released poison by ISIS, and they timed it to all affect people on this past week.
294-5678 for a cash offer today. That's 574-294-5678.
Get up and do some good ahead of the Notre Dame, New Mexico.
Yes, I am.
Join the Kelly Cares Foundation for the Game Day Chase 5K Run and Family Walk on Saturday, September 14th, beginning at 8 a.m. The race features themed miles, football flair, and a special end zone section at the finish line. Register online at GameDayChase.com. All proceeds benefit Kelly Cares Foundation. Presented by Harper Cancer Research Institute with support from KeyBank, ABC 57.
Home scientists are using Crisco or Wesson to make their THC vape juice. Yeah, I mean, you know, I would imagine inhaling oil is corn oil, cooking oil, might be an issue.
Mm. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. It is the final hour free-for-all and the final one before I go on vacation. You want to talk about anything? Give us a call, 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Ted, welcome to the program.
Hello, sir.
What's up?
I told you I knew the people at the embassy over here, and he had 2 kids. I said, oh, they are born in America, they will be American citizens. He told me, according to international law, the kids are taking the citizenship of their mother.
Okay.
So that's the things.
Well, so if you have an ambassador, I think that is different. So if you're a diplomat from another country, and the child is born here, that you do not get citizenship. I believe that, you know, because you have diplomatic immunity, so kind of everywhere you go, that little spot is technically foreign soil, you know. So
and was another gentleman in Chicago, Mr. Bodroshan, was a close friend of my father. He was born over here in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
His mother took him to Europe when he was 14. When he came back over here, he had to pass to 5 years to be things to become American citizen.
Okay.
Yeah, my father was not born over here, so he had to go. But I was surprised about Mr. Badorjan. No.
Okay.
They gave him the visa, but now I want to wish you to have a blessed travel and a good time during the vacation. I'm going to miss you the next week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And take care of the kids. That's important.
Yeah, we're doing a kid vacation too, so it's really the first one. We don't get out of town a lot, but we will be, and we got some people watching the house for us. And
yeah, I know. You go 1 week at a time. One day.
Yeah, and it's usually a working vacation for me. I just go do stuff for my company. I rarely actually take a vacation, so I'm actually going to be doing that. And we're going to go to Great Wolf, and we're going to have some fun. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Gonna be a blast.
I know. Okay.
All right.
Okay, sir.
Good talking. People were asking about you today at Pass the Mic, by the way. I had forgotten that you actually came out one time. And somebody was asking if you show up to Pass the Mic. So people were looking for you today. I'm just letting you know.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to come in November. The reason I don't like to go over there, sir, because of the fact that for me you are the most important. Not me with my BS, my own stuff.
You're going to be taking some of the celeb away from me, I think, because people were asking.
No, I don't want to take it. I don't want.
I am so famous, Ted. I will share some with you. How about that?
You know what I want for myself, just good health. So God will take care of my health.
There you go.
I don't want.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. All right, man. You take care.
In November 2nd, you have 2 tiers of tickets or only one?
They have not given me the specific ticket details yet, but we will have a general admission and a VIP if that's what you're talking about. But there's going to be some other stuff that might be available too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You bet.
Thank you.
Okay. You take care.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
Okay,
You too, Ted. All right. I got to bounce.
Bless you.
All right. You too, buddy.
Bye.
Take care. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. So I just pulled this up, and then I'll take more calls. Hold on. Amid this debate, however, there is one area of solid agreement among advocates on all sides of the debate about birthright citizenship. This is the Center for Immigration Studies. In the least, children born to foreign diplomats are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are therefore not to be granted U.S. citizenship. So yeah, diplomats, ambassadors, things like that who have kids in the U.S., they are not automatically given U.S. citizenship. So good question, though. Sharon, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi there.
Hi. I usually really appreciate everything you stand for. I just have a question about something you said Monday, and I have a feeling that you didn't really mean it to come out like this, but it was, I would rather be in a foxhole with a Muslim than any Christian at any time.
No, I didn't say that. What I was saying is I served with
would
Muslims.
You let me just say one more thing, please? Because it's good to not judge people all by a little small group, but judge the whole group by a small group. But it seemed like that by saying that you put like all the Christians in a negative light, and I just feel like that isn't what you meant.
Well, no, because it's not what I said. If you go back and you listen to the podcast, what I was saying is I served with Muslims who I would go into a foxhole before any Christian that I know, because I know they have my back because I served with them. So it was a specific reference to Muslims that I had served with that I know would have my back in a firefight no matter what. And there was one man in particular that I would go to hell with before anybody else that I knew in the military, including Christians. So it wasn't an all-encompassing thing.
Well, yeah, I really didn't think you meant it that way. Truly, I didn't. I went back. I have a radio in my bedroom, and then in the kitchen, I had Alexa on, and you were on both of them. Well, they're on different. They're not in sync. So I quickly went to see if I heard it right, and then I wrote it down. And and I don't feel like you think like that. I just wondered.
Because I know for a fact I didn't say with any Muslim over any Christian. I know that. It was specific to the Muslims that I had served with. Yeah.
No, it wasn't any. No, you didn't say any Muslim.
Okay.
No, but you said any Christian at any time. That's what I was.
There are. Yeah. Look, if here's the
And
thing.
I know there's a lot
hold on, Sharon. Let me finish now.
Okay.
If you have people who have trained to fight together or who have fought together, they automatically. In fact, there's a thing that goes around in our circles of who would you take? You had to pick 4 people, 5 people in a firefight. Who do you take? I'm telling you right now, one of the first names on my list happens to be a Muslim man I served with. And I will walk through hell with that man. And I trust him more than anybody else in a firefight. That includes Jews, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, doesn't matter. And that's not because of his faith or anything. It's just that he and I had a really good rapport, and I know I can count on him in a firefight. So that's the way that I meant it. If it came off a different way, then that wasn't the intention.
Okay.
It was specifically about people I served with who I trusted to have my back in the middle of a firefight.
And my husband was in the Army, and I do truly understand. I knew I had to call you and just clear this up in my own mind, because I didn't want to think that you were saying something that
Well, did I clarify it for you? Was that good enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think that you. I think you just probably feel the same way I do, that you love people, and there's good and bad in every group.
Yeah. Well, I hate people, but there's good and bad in every group. Yes. So we're almost there. No, purely personal experience with individuals that I know. That's all. It just so happens that he was a good soldier. He had my back. We had a good rapport. I would take him anywhere with me if I needed somebody to watch my back. He's at the top of the list.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. So, all right.
Well, that's good.
I got to roll, Sharon. I'm a little bit late for my break, but thank you so much. You take care. You got more open lines coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Michiana's news channel.
Every time.
To talk to Casey.
Every time. It never fails. Never fails. Oh, Lumberjacks is on the Twitch. What's up? Yep, you're right, Warren. That's how it is, man.
The number of overdose deaths are on the decline, which is great news. And that's due directly to the all hands on deck effort.
Pass what on to me?
Having reach out to Jasky Wolorsky to have her reach out to Sean Haas to endorse him for South Bend.
Oh, he's already been in contact with her.
I'm sure.
They're talking. All that stuff is coming. But I've looked at his financials. He's got no money coming in. So it's like, and I've looked at, again, 2 previous elections where it was like the GOP, and I've asked them before. I've asked the St. Joseph County GOP under previous leadership, not Zach's leadership. I'm like, why aren't you doing this? And they're like, we're not going to win. Why put the money into it if we're not going to win? And it's hard to ignore that logic. They've got a point. But there is a fissure that has opened up, and if you wanted to exploit that fissure, this is the time to do it. She was so slow it would take her half an hour to fall down. Ouch. Angie says, and that's why I don't call in drunk. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh, this segment is sponsored by Ambien. My God. And the thing is, like, I know I didn't say that. And, okay, she misheard. That's fine. But then she defends it by saying that I listened to it again and I wrote it down. Yeah, but you just called me and told me something that I didn't say. So...
The joint death penalty trial will be held at Camp Justice in Cuba.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. America is listening.
Don't comment, everybody. Yeah, I think Frank was here in the first hour.
The prime table is open Labor Day.
I thought I saw him, but I could be wrong.
8 p.m.
Now, home comfort experts, your air conditioning professionals' first warning forecasts.
This evening will be mostly cloudy with temperatures falling to the low 70s and 60s. Slight chance for a
How
passing
many shots can you take during her phone call? Oh, man.
With mostly sunny skies, becoming mostly cloudy in the evening. That's when we'll have a slight chance for another shower.
Thank you, Blue.
In the ABC 57 first 20
Appreciate that.
I'm meteorologist Erica Horvatine.
Wait, Blue, are you there? Hold on a second. Did you tell me that it was you? Did you introduce yourself? I must have missed it.
What we mean is the finest American-style tapas food in Mishawaka, surrounded by a craft beer, fine wine, champagne, and dessert list that is as unique and seasonal as our menu. At Temper Grill,
We're going to do a Great Wolf Lodge. Let the kids go play at a water park.
dining experience that changes
Got some people coming over to stay in the house and everything.
and his mood, while always satisfying your taste buds. Visit Tuesday nights for half-price wine bottles, Wednesday for $2 beer night.
Oh, okay, that was you. All right.
Ridiculous list.
My apologies. I'm sorry. I didn't recognize that it was you.
The atmosphere of Temper Grill, with a perfect backdrop for any occasion. Reservations required, 21 and up. Explore our menu, buy gift cards, or make a simple dinner reservation at tempergranger.com. Unplug and relax with a truly unforgettable dining experience. This life is
I don't know if I want to give too many details about where I go.
break bread in a bad mood with Temper Grill. Food with attitude.
Don't blame me.
Fox Business Network stocks closing mixed as trade uncertainties and recession fears led to a volatile month for stocks. But the major
Maybe. Where did I get that from? Where did I get the Ruth thing from? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm extremely tired. I need to go home. But I can't.
And shares of Campbell's Soup rising close to 4% after the food maker reported improved profits in its latest quarter due to cost cuts and increased sales of soups and snacks in the U.S. Campbell has struggled to boost sales for many of its products as consumers shift to fresher options. And it was an ugly day on Wall Street for shares of Ulta Beauty. Its stock pulling
Under my holy hat. Literally holy hat.
Retailers warned that headwinds would put a dent in future earnings. With the Fox Business Report,
Man, I don't know. Producer Tim used to vape a lot, and I've got this chest congestion today. I better go check into the hospital. Thank you. I think we will. I think it's going to be a blast. We've been wanting to go for a couple of years now, and the girls are old enough to do it. And I think it's going to be fun.
The medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. So easy to get your first order for just $5.
Oh, Blue. Okay. So you said Blue. Sorry. My mistake. I apologize.
Round up at the register. You help family and friends when they ask. If you want to do there is an easy way to be more giving. Give blood at the South Bend Medical Foundation. Whether you're a new donor or a donor who decides to donate more often, donate this month and receive your choice of a
I'm not a very good listener sometimes. Really good at telling people things, though.
Thanks. You could be a silent hero for the community. Local hospitals depend on blood donations from the
Okay.
South Bend Medical Foundation.
I'll look at the message in a little bit, Tracy.
And for patients in need. Donating is easy.
Am I invested in any legal marijuana companies? Maybe.
Make an appointment today at one of our donor centers or mobile drive locations most convenient to you. Call 234-1157 or log on to givebloodnow.com. Come and get your choice of a gas card or
Yeah, they do actually. They've advanced quite a bit. I actually saw some at 5 and below. And yeah, they're I don't know, they're interesting, but we'll be indoors, so it won't be necessary. People like to goof on those things with the rubber bottoms, though. But I'll tell you what, if you're in Vegas and you go to Lake Mead, you need those dang things on your feet because you can't walk on that beach. That beach is sharp, jagged rock. It hurts like a son of a gun.
Summer's almost over, but if you hurry to MyDealsMichiana.com, you can still get a great deal on Edge Adventures at Rum Village Park. Conquer Edge Adventures Treetop Obstacle Course and zip lines with 2-hour, 3-hour, or all-day passes. All for 20% off.
You're in sales and get called a lot of names, huh? Yeah. I've been there. I have been there.
Hurry over to MyDealsMichiana.com and grab your Edge Adventures passes now. That's MyDealsMichiana.
Yeah, as far as legal marijuana companies, no, I don't have any investments there. CBD, I may potentially. So.
Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
Take care, Blue.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. If you mention me, you get 50% off. That's 50. That's not a Labor Day special. That's every day. 50% off by mentioning me at the range. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. It is the final hour free-for-all. We're in the final 20 minutes, and it's the last one before I go on vacation. So give us a call. Let us know what you want to talk about. Be happy to take those calls now. There is a couple of lines open. Karen, welcome to the program.
Hi, Casey.
Hi there.
I have a few comments, and number one is thank you for expertly facilitating the Lincoln Day dinner for the Republican Party.
Thank you.
Back a couple months ago.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I did a semi-okay job.
You did it better than that. And you know what? I don't expect you to be in this South Bend area too long. I think you probably have headhunters calling you already.
Oh, I've had headhunters hunting me down for years. It's just, here's the thing. People ask me this all the time. When I get asked questions about my career, one of the things is, why are you here? Well, first of all, this is a pretty nice place, and I work for a good company with nice people. There have been people who have offered me jobs. I considered one seriously and almost went, didn't ultimately. I have been offered LA and other places and things like that. I don't want to live in LA, and I don't want my family to live there. Yeah, they're going to pay me more money, but then I also have to deal with LA and the cost of living in LA, which really isn't more money. So it's like, I don't want to be in LA. So, there have been people who have reached out into various markets, but I have learned that if you stop chasing big markets or things like that, you're going to do pretty good. As long as you go to a place where you've got a good company around you, you've got good people around you, and the company is innovative. And I think that is, for me, that's one of the most important things. The company has to be innovative. It's one of the things that drew me to Federated Media here. They were very innovative. So I think if you do that, you're going to be pretty good, but you never know what could happen. I mean, ultimately, sure, I think we all want to be syndicated. I don't know anybody in this business who doesn't want to be syndicated. But the opportunities have to be there, too. And the national syndication companies haven't been doing very good over the past couple of years. I would like Federated Media to be a syndicator. To be perfectly honest with you, I've been pushing them for years to do it. We have a lot of talented people at our radio stations. We're already regional. It makes sense to start taking the best of our talent and start pulling them through our properties first and then selling those properties, those talents to other radio stations and other markets. But I don't know if they'll do it. I hope they will because they have the capability to, but we'll see.
Casey, my reason for calling is I was listening to your commentary on the way home from the Republican headquarters, and I heard you speak very kindly and truthfully about Sean Haas for mayor. Mm-hmm. He is a sterling person. He knows a lot about South Bend and a lot of things. He's not just focused on, he's not focused on investments. He's focused on the city of South Bend. infrastructure, police department, and on and on. And I think he deserves all the, the credit that he needs and the encouragement that he needs with the support of the Republican Party and all others who can do that. And I'll be out walking and talking and promoting him. And thank you for your commentary.
All right. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words as well. You take care. Here's the thing. Look, I've met Sean. Okay? I like Sean. I have not met Mueller. I've heard nothing but good things about Mueller, that he's a nice guy. Sean speaks highly of him. They went to school together. Here's the thing. My reasons for wanting this to be a competitive race are selfish twofold. Okay. One, really good for my career. Anytime you have a very competitive race, it is good for what I do for a living. So if I can take a non-competitive race and make it competitive with honesty, okay, obviously you don't want to be deceptive about it, but what I see, that's what I see. And I know political campaigning. I've seen those patterns before. I've watched these sorts of things happen. So I have some experience in this stuff, and I can see that there is this huge fissure. By the way, how do I know that what I'm saying is accurate? Because I had a bunch of liberals really angry texting me when I talked about that segment in the 3 o'clock hour today. They were foaming at the mouth, angry, many of them, which tells me that there is a lot of truth in what I'm saying about this divide with, in particular, the black community in South Bend and the Democratic Party. They are angry that the Democratic Party hasn't represented them. Okay, why not give the Republicans a chance? Now, what's interesting is that they're, oh, you're a hack. Okay, I've said the same thing about Republicans in the state legislature. But of course, I'm not a hack then, right? I'm not a hack when I'm bashing Republicans at the state level. But so a little bit of it is selfish because of my career. The other part of it is I see great potential in South Bend. I really do. And I rip on the city a lot. And I complain about the city a lot because there's a lot to rip and there's a lot to complain about, but there is tremendous potential here. It's just not being exploited. And so part of the reason that I did the segment that I did in the 3 o'clock hour that she was referring to is not only is it career-wise selfish of me to want to see a competitive race here, but it's better for you. It's better for the residents of South Bend. It's better for the city if there's a competitive race because competition makes things better. It's that simple. If anybody can waltz into the mayor's office simply because they have a letter next to their name, how invested are they in being innovative? How invested are they into earning your vote or keeping your vote for their reelection campaign if they know you're just going to give it to them? Which means they're really not going to work all that hard to make the city better. They're going to do what they need to do to get reelected. And that's it, the bare minimum. And if the bare minimum is, well, you have a D next to your name, so you have a 90% chance of being reelected anyway, why put in the effort? Look, the voter turnout in Pete Buttigieg's reelection campaign was dismal. But he'll run around and tell you that he won by a wide margin. Sure he did. He didn't really have an opponent. He didn't have an opponent that was very good. That opponent wasn't really supported by the party, although I don't really blame the party for not supporting her all that much. But nobody showed up. So yeah, he won, but there wasn't that many people who voted. So it's better if you have people competing for your vote, and then you get ideas and you get strategies and plans, and then you can hold them accountable to those promises. But if somebody can just waltz in there by not talking to the press, not debating their opponent, and just, because they have a letter next to their name, that doesn't help anybody. Honestly, it really doesn't help anybody. And I would like to see the city of South Bend succeed. I really would, in spite of all of my criticism of the city. You can't do that without competition. Anytime you have a monopoly, it doesn't benefit anybody. It really doesn't. And you can look at any place in the country where it is super, super easy to get one party elected. And guess what? You will find some form of stagnation or ignoring of certain issues and problems. You will always see that. So yeah, selfish to have a good race for my career, but I also want to see the city of South Bend succeed. And you can only get that if you have these two guys going at each other's throat with good ideas. That's it. So sue me for wanting you guys to have a better city than you have now. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is everywhere. The top news and issues on Facebook and on Twitter at 95.3 MNC. Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Ooh, good question. Text message says, why is Elizabeth Warren any different than the Hollywood stars that paid people to get their kids enrolled in college? After all, she used her fake Native American heritage to get herself ahead. That is a good question. Excuse me.
Mishawaka 400 at the Brickyard. To enter for a chance to win, text the word drive to 45364.
Message and data rates apply.
And good luck.
This message is for all those stream-happy, data-loving smartphone junkies out there. Oh, millennials, we're not talking about you.
You know what? If Sean Haas really wanted to tweak some people, he would start putting the hashtag walk away on all of his damn signs. If he really wanted to tweak some people, that would be funny. I am not recommending that, Sean, but that would be funny as hell. Just not recommending you do it. Oh, man.
Go ahead, embarrass your kids with another baby pic on Facebook, or crank your playlist to 11, because T-Mobile's got you covered. Don't settle for wireless plans that are all talk. Join us today and see for yourself why T-Mobile is America's most loved brand in wireless. Are you with us? Customers using more than 50 gig per month windows produce speeds due to prioritization. Video at 480p. Unlimited while on the network. In Cincinnati, that's 6835 rate plan plus 165 taxes and fees. In Louisville, that's 6727 rate plan plus 273 taxes and fees. In Indiana, that's 6759 rate plan plus 241 taxes and fees. See in-store materials for specifics. Qualifying credit required.
Accidental overdose, huh? Jeez.
On Saturday, September 7th at the Mishawaka Goodwill Store on Grape Road from 9 to 11 a.m. Drop off your donations and register for Goodwill's Good Points Reward Card. As a card holder, you'll earn points on purchases at retail stores.
Just had the chills. I must have made myself happy. Did something that I like.
Mishawaka Goodwill Store on Saturday, September 7th from 9 to 11 a.m. While you're there, shop the Good Points 50% off sale in the retail store. Your donations and purchases help Goodwill continue their mission to strengthen communities by empowering individuals and families through education, training, and job placement. Join MNC on Saturday, September 7th at the Mishawaka Goodwill Store from 9 to 11 a.m. Sponsored by ABC 57 News.
Is the Media Research Center stealing WoWo people, or are you talking about MNC?
Do you want to learn to speak a new
Because,
language?
yeah, we are stealing WoWo people.
Then you need to try Babbel, the language learning app that you can try for free right now at Babbel.com. Babbel's lessons are just 15 minutes or less, and
Babble,
go at
babble,
your own
babble,
pace.
babble.
You'll be amazed at how easy Babbel makes it. Start your first lesson in the language of your choice for free. Just download the Babbel app or go to Babbel.com.
Report: an obsessed Taylor Swift fan was detained outside of her Rhode Island home, wanted to marry her.
Can be like, well, trying to find
That's
a needle in a
creepy.
haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. That's why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
Find ZipRecruiter now for free by going to
Typo.
ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Yeah, well, we're sister stations, so we share talent anyway. But Brooklyn is actually moving here, so she's going to be afternoon news for us here soon. She'll be in-house. I don't like her politics, but I love looking at her.
On Newstalk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station. Get breaking news and weather online on 95.3mnc.com. From Newstalk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. Almost out of time, so I'll do my best to get all the phone calls that I can. To the phone lines we go. Robert, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Hey, I have a question about Comey. I'm just confused how he and his band of clowns, what they have pulled off, how would not be considered treason?
Because he didn't do it on behalf of a foreign entity. It's criminal. And the IG report points out that he broke the law several times, not only the FBI's policy and his employment contract, but the law. And they still recommend that he's not being charged. But he didn't do it on behalf of another entity, another country to harm the United States. So it technically wouldn't be considered treason at that point. But I can see where you would think that, because you're still talking about trying to overthrow in some capacity the president of the United States. So, yeah, it takes a lot to get a treason conviction in the U.S. They made it that way because the king used to, accuse everybody of treason and then kill them. So the founding fathers were very, very strict about what could be treason and not. But, yeah, I get where you're coming from, man. I'm more frustrated that he wasn't, recommended for charges on anything.
I mean, what you're saying is true. I mean, they didn't even find Jane Fonda guilty of treason. She did.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, sure. Now, there's a lot of people wanted Jane Fonda charged with it. Yeah, so there's some myth associated with that, but there's also a lot of truth associated with the old Jane Fonda story. So, yeah, good point.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you much.
Thanks,
I said it's frustrating, and a lot of people are asking me about Comey. I passed the mic today. A lot of people. Derek, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hi, Casey.
Hi there.
I just had a question regarding Sean Hawes, and I know you talked about his position on the racial tensions there in South Bend, but I've seen a lot about this educational plan he has for the schools in South Bend, and I was looking on his website, but I was kind of confused on what exactly his position is and what he wants to do if he was elected as mayor. Could you briefly explain that for me?
His educational position? Well, the mayor doesn't have a lot of power over education. He's gone over it a little bit with us. He hasn't gone into great detail. I mean, that's probably for the next interview with him, I guess. I'm trying to I've had Haas on a couple of times. I want to get Mueller on. And so if we can get Mueller on, then it's a little bit more balanced. It doesn't look like we're just pushing Sean. You know what I mean? Was there something in particular you were confused about that I could ask him?
No, I know he's a high school history teacher, and
yeah, he is a teacher. Yeah,
and so I didn't know.
I haven't seen the policy position on his education plan at all, so I can't intelligently comment on it. But
I guess I would just be very interested, just because I've seen in the South Bend Tribune they've said that they've had schools have got 5 schools or something like that. They have 5 Fs.
Yeah, there's a lot of schools that are problems in South Bend, but one of the issues too, Derek, is that the mayor doesn't have a lot of authority over that. That goes to the school board. So yeah, he's going to be kind of limited in what he can do. I hate to cut you short, but I got to bounce out here, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Again, Matt Locke next week covering for me on vacation. You all be safe, and we'll see you when I get back.
If you're interested in quality custom replacement windows, siding, roofing, and patio enclosures with no money down and no interest for 1 year, call Ultratech. Gary in Michigan did.
They came out and installed 13 windows in our 2-story home, vinyl windows, and they went around the whole outside with vinyl siding.
All right. Whew. Not too bad on the credits today. Not too bad. All right. If there is any final words before I bounce out of here, any questions or anything like that? Yeah, and again, this is just the IG report, and it's just a recommendation. Charges can still be brought. That was a big question that I got today. Was like, well, can anybody else file charges against him? Yep, they sure can. but the IG didn't recommend charges. So remember, the Inspector General reports are basically administrative. They're not criminal.
Your top stories right now. I'm Lisa Lucera, Fox News. The entire state of Florida on high alert as now Category 3 Hurricane Dorian bears down.
Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. I think I'll have a pretty good vacation. I think it'll be good. Things on the business front seem to be bright, so that's good. Hopefully some of the stuff that we're seeing right now will continue to materialize and will actually turn into the contracts that we think we're going to get. Because then it means the gamble that I took over the past year will have paid off for me and my investors. That's the biggest goal. I want to take care of them, and I haven't been able to take care of them. But if what happens that I think is going to happen, everybody's going to do well. And so we're just right there. We're so close. So close. And it's frustrating being on the edge all the time. But if it happens, and it's going to be big.
Lieutenant Dave Edwards says a member of their department spotted the fire and began evacuating people. People in hundreds of homes were told to get
I'm not on YouTube that much anymore. What do you mean?
That's the good news today. With the loss of homes,
Thank you, Sam.
We have no injuries reported so far with this event.
The fire started during a thunderstorm and winds spread the flames quickly into the residential neighborhoods, Lisa.
Jessica, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey's official.
Yeah, the memo, mostly memo too, with the classified information is the issue. As far as the criminality aspect of it. We talked about that comment. Yeah. A bunch of racist stuff got posted up there quick.
America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. America's
I'll give you guys another 30 seconds or so before I bounce on out.
interest rates have dropped. So if you're thinking about buying a home, right now is the time to lock that low rate, even before you find the home of your dreams. With our exclusive...
Were any of the winners actually on the live stream today? Or were they all... I don't think they were. I think they were all just radio listeners.
But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us.
Thank you, everybody. I will have a good vacation, I hope. Anyway, certainly hope it'll be good. I mean, you're going to an indoor water park. That can't be that bad, right?
No.
It's like, how do you...
I went to the one that's in Sandusky.
Yeah? Was that good? They've been watching videos of all the different ones, and the rides that they all have versus the places that have other rides that others don't have. And they're like, which ones are there? I'm like, let's watch the specific ones for the one that we're going to.
No, I'll watch these ones. Well, then you're never going to know.
Point. All right. I guess we're all finito. Oh, yeah. When we get back in town, we'll be riding. Plus, I'll be riding over this weekend, too, for the Abate thing. Definitely going to get some time in. Thank you, Lumberjacks. Appreciate that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the support on the stream. I really do appreciate it. What?
They just said that vapes were linked to ones using THC.
Oh, so they were. So it was THC.
That's what I heard. I don't know.
But
I think they just stated.
Damn. Gee. If only people had said that. So you got a bunch of dope heads screwing up, making their own THC crap at home, I think. And everybody... What probably happened is some stupid video probably went viral on how to make your own, and a bunch of idiots went out and tried to do it. So now they'll have to figure out where these people were learning how to make their own THC vape issue dealios, whatever the hell they're called. Uh-huh. Vaping is bad.
Russia has been banned from international track and field since 2015. This as the track federation banned a coach and another.
Yeah, we all knew it was one of two things: either a defective device or people were jacking with it to do dope. We all knew it. All right, thank you so much for supporting the show and the stream and all of my social media and everything else. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys the week of the 9th. So I think we're back on the 9th. And Matlock's going to be covering again next week. When we
Oh, I guess it would have to be Tuesday.
No, because Labor Day is...
You'll be back on the 9th.
I'm going to be back on the 9th. Yeah, the 9th is a Monday. So I will be back on the 9th. That week we'll go over the details for noise, okay, including who the guests are. You're going to be stoked about this, by the way. Matlock next week. So, yeah, I think we got everything. I think we're good.
Right now it's 70 degrees.
Well, yeah, Monday's a holiday, so Monday will be a best of. Yeah. Because it's
I'm off. So
because it's a holiday. Yes. No, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I got to bounce, everybody. Thank you again. I really do appreciate it. And check out the new moto vlog. I used the new camera setup with the 2 cameras. Going forward, I won't just have a picture-in-picture. I'm going to have a back and forth between the cameras, but it was easier to do a picture-in-picture with the time that I had yesterday. So go check it out. It's right there in the moto vlog playlist here on the channel. It's called I Hate Everyone Named Carter. You will learn why in the video, but well, I mean, you hope so. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much. You all have fun. Be safe. I will see you in a week.